That's why we do it. That's we are live on a Tuesday, November 25th, right? November 25th. And the studio audience is going crazy because we're talking freaking aliens, man. Aliens. You know what? I gotta talk more aliens. I do. It's the one thing, if there's anything that I get like communiques about, communication, it's aliens. The discussion about, because there's two groups that are fiercely, they got their points. Aliens are amongst us. They're visiting us. There is alien technology that is the government has their hands on. Not just the U.S. government. It's the Chinese government. It's the Russian government. It's what other government would have? I don't know. But then there's the other side that says there's no aliens. It's all a government conspiracy. What side do I fall on? All right. Well, this is gonna look. We're gonna do a lot of shows like this, and I want everyone who believes in aliens to try and convince me. Everything I've ever seen, I would have an easier time explaining how 3 pink elephants are flying around the corner. I mean, it's just the way it is, and I just need evidence. It's all just kind of on the periphery, right? All of the evidence of aliens is on the periphery, but there's a new trailer, there's a new movie on Amazon Prime. The Age of Disclosure. Age of Disclosure is out, my friends. Don't give me an applause. More now. This one has been touted. I haven't watched it. I was going to watch it this afternoon. Okay, easy studio audience. Settle down. Sit. It's what aliens do, man. Aliens get people riled up. Are there aliens? Could you imagine? Honestly, here's the thing. If there were truly aliens amongst us, and or aliens have visited, if Roswell was real, if like what was that Disney Plus show with oh God, it was so bad. With the lizard people, I don't even like Disney and Marvel it's like, and I'm a screenwriter, right? So that's Disney. I mean, Disney. Holy, do not let. I'll tell you what. If Disney buys, I was going to say if Disney buys Stargate. I mean, Stargate is owned by MGM, Amazon. The great thing is, so you talk about science fiction, right? Avatar, which I think is, now, you are not going to get a phenomenon like Star Wars or Star Trek or Lord of the Rings or Marvel. These are brands that have been around for decades. Star Wars started in the 1970s. We have a huge diffusion of media. The fact that a movie can bust out $2-3 billion in this environment. What James Cameron did, and this is fucking smart, my friends, freaking smart. He ain't a dumb man. Well, he's Canadian. Like, I'm not gonna, he is Canadian. I've lived half of my life in the United States, half of my life in Canada. So I'm a bit of both, right? I'm a bit of both. I was born in Europe, so I'm a third of everything. James Cameron, even though they bought Century 21 and Fox, which didn't own Avatar, they owned the distribution for Avatar. James Cameron, who is becoming a New Zealand citizen, I actually have a lot of great New Zealand friends. I do. I mean, hats off to New Zealand, right? He kept all the intellectual property in his company. He didn't sell anything. He owns Final Cut. Now, in the movie business, a lot of people, you hear a lot of people online schmitting about, talking about the movie business. There's a couple of okay ones, 85, 90% don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Final cut is probably the most important thing that you negotiate in a contract in a movie. And that means whoever has final cut decides what the final cut is going to theaters, right? Quentin Tarantino, he gets final cut. James Cameron gets final cut. I would think guys like Denis Villeneuve with Dune get shared final cut, you know, but final cut, that should, I mean, that's everything, right? I would argue that the shit that you see going out, like, for example, Fantastic Four, which had probably the worst science in any movie in modern day Earth. The worst science. Did you guys see Fantastic Four? Fantastic Four lost every single person that likes science, that has anything, that has any, you got to be at least science approximate, right? Christopher Nolan, he is always science approximate. James Cameron goes to extreme lengths to be science exact, as exact as he can. Avatar, I just did a video on Avatar, the propulsion system from Earth to Pandora. And what, it really is incredible what he, with his ISV, the Venture Star, moving people and stuff between. And that's a movie, when you talk about aliens, the Avatar propulsion system between Earth and Alpha Centauri system, which is three suns. One sun is a main sequence star, slightly bigger than our own star. But it shows you these distances that are absolutely fucking crazy, my friends. Crazy. His spaceships go 0.7 the speed of light, propelled by a laser system from just outside Earth, probably floating outside Earth, that shoots beams of laser and photons accelerate the ISV, the interstellar vehicle, to Pandora. Now, it requires antimatter. We don't even know if antimatter exists. I mean, it exists in minuscule quantities at the quantum level. He's mining antimatter from Jupiter, taking it and converting it into antimatter, where that goes into the propulsion system and off. But basically, what we find, guys, is not the universe fine-tuned to ensure intelligent life does not ever see each other? If you believe in aliens, you can't just say, well, they have technology and they can build warp drives, or they can build a Star Wars hyperdrive, whatever the fuck that is. I mean, there's no tech behind the Star Wars hyperdrive. It goes into another dimension or something like that. I mean, it's all hocus pocus. The warp system, yeah, you know what? There is some theory behind it. Could you imagine though, Alcubierre and his, takes his, I got the math. Hey, Elon, fucking build this, buddy. Elon goes, what am I gonna build? Like, what am I gonna build? These are the fucking math equations, guys. It's just, I think that the nature of the universe is that intelligent life will never see each other. Now, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope there is something out there that convinces me. There's a new movie, like I said. I was going to say the age of disclosure, the age of discovery. The age. Oh my God, I've totally messed up my own mind. The new age of discovery. Sorry, disclosure. You know what? I gotta watch what I write down is what I gotta do. But the new movie, I was gonna watch it. Like I said, I was gonna watch it this afternoon. I did not have time. There's a whole bunch of reviews on it already. We're gonna take a look at it. We're gonna watch the trailer. I was gonna do cryonics today as well. The idea of being. Why am I going in? You know what? Autofocus. Am I gonna get you? Give me back info. There we go. Can I get, what the hell?
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
I didn't go full retard. I didn't go. Okay, let's make lemonade. Let's make lemonade. I was going to do cryonics today as well. I had a whole thing on cryonics, which I find, which kind of goes along with the Avatar and the James Cameron trip to Pandora. Because if you're going to send people, a lot of people, right? I mean, basically the way Avatar is being set up is you're going to have probably in the next movie, there's going to be a settling, like it's going to be like settling the West, right? James Cameron's going to have some sort of a, like a wagon trains, trains going to Pandora of humans. I don't think the way that he shows humans as being like when these ISVs land and they're wiping out utter square miles, hundreds of square miles, obliterating it. I don't know. Like it's hard to know. There's something, but you know what? You don't see movie. I've lived 20 years in Hollywood. I've won a lot of awards in screenwriting, and you could Google me, Danny Alex screenwriting. There's not many movies that show the spectacle of what James Cameron has done with movies is in fucking insane. If you threw that at someone and said, make this in Hollywood, no. Only James Cameron can do this. Is it CGI? Yeah, but every single scene is done by an actor. I mean, that's crazy. That's a little bit off topic, but the propulsion system, when I equate it to Aliens, there just isn't alien tech. Look, I get it, right? People who believe in aliens, or that aliens are visiting us, or that UAPs are aliens, there's always a pretty good explanation. And if the government, it's easier for the government to create a false narrative. They've been doing it for 80 years since World War II. They want us to believe in this stuff because then they can do all of their little stuff and their military things under the guise of UAP. Now, I love hearing the arguments. I'm just a kind of a Spock guy, right? I want to, 1 + 1 = 2. And until I hear otherwise, I don't put my belief system into a place where there is ambiguity, there is room for argument, there is lots of wiggle room. I mean, we're still talking theories, right? Just like the Avi Loeb and Three Eye Atlas. Come on, guys. Like, come on. Avi Loeb. He's a fucknut. Some might disagree with me, but Avi Loeb, he's a fucknut. Like, not. Could you imagine if everyone at his level was out there? Now he's saying that Three Eye Atlas is going to Jupiter. I was going to include some Three Eye Atlas stuff today, and it just because I wanted to spend some time on aliens. This alien stuff, because I think it fires us all up. Why do I have this heater on? Can someone? Well, I'm burning up in here. So yeah, Avi Loeb is talking again. I actually, in a previous episode, I did 20 points that Avi Loeb stated. Verbatim. This is what he said. Actually, it was 18. I only got 18. And I had to do 2 for Oumuamua. And then I did the scientific explanation. I mean, if everyone was so alarmist, if the average person at home believed that there was a 40% chance that that Three Eye Atlas was actually aliens, I'm sorry, guys. We could probably agree that the majority of the population of this world is just not that bright, right? They use Facebook for their news. I mean, that is. Do you applaud that? I have no idea. It would be reckless. for the science community. I mean, last week he threw Brian Cox and Neil deGrasse Tyson under the bus. Brian Cox has said nothing bad about anyone in his life, I don't think. He's like Mr. All Brian Cox has said, well, it probably looks like a comet of whatever the evidence that he's looked at. And then he takes Brian and Neil and just like, there's the boom. Like, what was Avi? The only one that is desperate for attention are people that are throwing this stuff out there. So anyway, so that is there's lots of 3i Atlas stuff to come. The stuff that I've heard on this new Amazon show is that it's a lot of the same. I can't verify that. But they're saying it's a lot of the same. One thing, here's the thing. If I may present evidence to the jury, where's that? There we go. Okay, so I think there's a better way to do this, like this. So here we have, is that the, you know what? I'm going to take myself off the screen so you guys can see this whole thing. Okay, that's me. That's all me. What the fuck? So, okay, guys, this is a chart. Can we see the bottom? Oh, I don't think we can. Oh, man, are you kidding me? So at the very, very bottom, we see right where this starts, right here is the 1940s, right after World War II. Roswell basically exploded everything. As we see, we go back to the early 1900s, there's like nothing. You go to the 1800s, there's no sightings or people being picked up by aliens, or Roswell sparked the whole motherfucking thing. Now, when there's very logical explanations to certain things happening, you got to pay attention. Even the evidence that's presented at Roswell, if you look at the evidence, it was an air balloon. Or a weather balloon, not an air balloon, a weather balloon. My apologies. But if we keep going, right here, if you look at the big swoop where all of a sudden it shoots up, those are the 1990s. Those are the 1990s, right there. Maybe if shoot, you know what? I could probably do this. There we go. Ah, oh, thank you. Do I get a treat? Do I get a little bit of wine? I love me a little bit of wine. Oh, that is good for the heart, my friends. That is good for the heart and the mind and the soul. So so you take a look at the 1940s, right? Boom. Roswell sparks it all, right? All of a sudden, people are writing about aliens, talking about aliens. It's in the zeitgeist of our society. Right after World War II as well, the atom bomb. We now have ways, and we've seen it on 2 cities on this planet, where thousands of human beings can be destroyed. We've seen the power of the atom. You throw Roswell and everything else in there, and you get this explosion. Even War of the Worlds, the radio show that with Mars attacks and all that. But now go to the 1990s. So here we go. Look at the 1990s where you have this massive explosion to the upside. You can ask yourself, what happened during the 1990s? And I would say, and even so this goes up to basically 2020. But look at the massive explosion of sightings and everything. It's all modern times. There's never been an account in, the medieval days or this, obviously there's superstitious sort of things. You could talk about, well, there's things chiseled into rocks and there's that's quite circumstantial. Still no evidence. But what happened in the 90s? What happened in the 1990s? Your Honor, may I now I'm just presenting some evidence, right? Some ideas. Okay, I got to go to. Oh, wait a sec. Is that? Oh, that's got the wrong screen. Where are we here? Alien movies. That's the one. Oh, there we go. Oh, I got it. So, my friends, so if you take a look, I'm going to attribute a lot of this to Hollywood and the idea of the internet. All of a sudden, the more we get technology and Hollywood grasps on, we've had yes, we had Star Wars. Hey, I was born in 67, right? So I go back. I like to think of myself as a very young motherfucker, a very young old motherfucker. So I don't know what I remember Star Wars. I saw it in the theaters. Space 1999. 2001: A Space Odyssey. I remember obviously later. I remember Elvis Presley dying. I remember watching Star Trek, the original series, The GOAT. 1980 Cosmos with Carl Sagan. I was playing hockey. It was on Sunday nights, September 23rd to December 21st, 1980. This was a time for science fiction. This is where you could get a Star Wars, a fan base so powerful, so huge. And then, of course, as we went into the 80s and then into the 90s, the internet comes. And what do we have? We've got, in 1996, Independence Day, Mars Attacks, Star Trek, First Contact, The Arrival. The 1990s was deluged with movies that helped inspire a mindset. 1995, Species. 1994, Stargate. The Puppet Masters. Okay, let's not think of that one. Roswell, a television film based on the supposedly true story of Roswell UFO. There we are. And so in the early 1990s, it's just a way to rationalize what happened in the 90s. I don't know how many of you were alive. I mean, I was quite old. My generation, basically, we were building the internet. The 90s were great. I would love to relive the 90s. I think even more so than the 80s. I think the 90s. Oh fuck yeah. The 90s. I mean, I love the music, the rock, the shows. Look what we had. Total Recall, 1990. Predator 2. Well, Predator 2 wasn't that one. Tremors. Remember Tremors? Kevin Bacon. Flatliners. Oh, was that Kevin Bacon too? Or no? That was. I think that was. Terminator 2, Judgment Day in 1980. What was Terminator? The first Terminator, right? This was the Rocketeer. Alien 3, but we had the Alien franchise. Alien and then Aliens. James Cameron. Universal Soldier. Jurassic Demolition Man, Fire in the Sky, Body Snatchers, Stargate. Here we go. 12 Monkeys, Species, Strange Days. Waterworld, not so much. Independence Day, Mars Attacks. We went through those ones already. Star Trek, The Arrival, Men in Black. Again, these were very big, culturally big movies in the 1990s. If you're looking for reasons why all this UFO sightings, the internet allowed people to start sharing stuff. When people started sharing stuff, they said, oh my... I mean, if you listen to all these people who've been picked up by UFOs, like, dude, why didn't you grab an ashtray or something? Grab an ashtray or grab a pen. Don't they have pens? Grab something. Grab a laptop before you get escorted off the ship. If I was an alien, an advanced alien, look, we abduct these ants. We can't let them go. I mean. Still in 1997, Men in Black, Fifth Element, Starship Troopers, Contact, Carl Sagan with Jodie Foster. This is the time where the internet, the explosion of shared files, the explosion of shared experiences took off to an extent that has never been seen since the printing press and Martin Luther with the Lutheran Protestant movement back in, what year was it? 1564? I'm guessing now. Jeez. I mean, I'm a student of history. Event Horizon, guys. Event Horizon. You know what? I got to watch me some Event Horizon. As a screenwriter, if someone ever asked me, Danny, We want you to write. You don't want to call it Event Horizon 2. It's just the sequel to Event. Event Horizon needs a great screenwriter, not one of these feminist activist Star Wars types, right? Oh my God, fucking the love of God. But as, like a science fiction screenwriter, maybe like me, maybe I'm not just, I don't know even who owns Event Horizon, the property. I think, is that a Paramount or a Warner property? I don't remember. Mimic, oh geez, I barely remember that one. Dark City Sphere, The Faculty, The X-Files. This all started in the 90s. Armageddon, Ben Affleck. Oh, yeah. But, fuck, guys. If you ask me, like, what do you guys think? Was Ben Affleck the best Batman? I think he was the best Batman. I think Zack Snyder, although he's, yeah, all right. Studio audience, shut the fuck up. Zack Snyder, although he screwed up a little bit, that fight when they dropped Batman off to save Superman's mother, I don't know why Superman wouldn't go save his own mother. He goes and flies out. Would you leave, like, if you're all powerful, would you leave it to a fucking human to save your mother? Probably not. I probably think that I'm Superman. I'll go save my own fucking mother. Zach, it didn't work, buddy. Didn't work. But anyway, that fight, that's okay. That's enough. That Batman fight, when he goes through the floor, that was the best Batman fight ever, man. That shows Batman as a kick-ass motherfucking hero, right? That is Batman. To Zack Snyder's credit, he knows how to do a fight. In the TV one, the mutant one, or the opening scene was just a brilliant fight. Storytelling, dude, just stay off the scripts, man. Don't write the scripts. Rebel Moon, man, stay off the fucking scripts. Do not write the scripts. But he can do a mean fight. So Ben Affleck, I guess that's. I know a lot of people say they will. People will argue. And the fact that Ben Affleck did not get his own Batman movie, and the fact that James Gunn didn't start his universe off with frickin' Batman, who is the DC world builder. You started off with Superman and you fucked it up. Now you got Supergirl coming out and you're gonna fuck it up times 2. And I like James Gunn. Guy's got talent. Just proved it. James Gunn's proved it. He's got talent. He didn't show this talent with Superman. Oh, man. That's a different story. X-Files, Armageddon, 1998. The Matrix, 1999. Guys, this is why the 90s exploded with the internet. These movies and everything dealing with shared experiences and UFOs. Now, I would love to be proved wrong. I really would. I don't think I've seen the 13th floor. The Iron Giant? Okay, well, I just did, yeah. So anyway, that is, when we take a look at the chart, let's go back to that. If we take a look at the chart, so look at the big pop in the 1990s, right? Right, like a big pop. That's the internet, man. That's all these sci-fi movies, Independence Day, Men in Black, Matrix, all these movies. And now people are sharing shit. They're emailing. Before email, you know what you had to do? You took a letter, you folded it up, you licked it, and you put it in the mailbox. Or maybe you did a phone call. I remember doing a long distance call. Was it even in the early 80s to Europe, because I was born in Europe. What an ordeal. Holy geez, you would have to call the operator, and the operator would like wait and patch it through. You couldn't hear well. You'd be like, hello, grandma. No, I mean, did I don't, okay, I don't think, I don't think I wanted to hit that button. I wanted to hit what's right above it. That's what I would mean. So anyway, So honestly, guys, I find this graph extremely telling. As technology and our ability to communicate expanded, just like the printing press, which sparked the Protestant Revolution, the Reformation, the Renaissance, back in the 16th century with Martin Luther, the 98 things. Remember, was it 98, 93? He nailed up on the, they were selling get out of jail free cards with St. Peter, right? I mean, that's what the church was doing. They were like, give us enough money. The Pope will send a message to St. Peter in purgatory. And you'll pass purgatory, you'll get right to heaven. I mean, that's a great bullshit sell line, right? And of course, Martin Luther back then, he said, "Oh, no, you don't do it. Oh, no, no." Anyway, so the printing press was, basically, it's been heralded as the greatest invention of humankind. You could argue the internet is the next one, and you can argue AI is going to blow both of these motherfuckers out of the water, because what is coming, guys, with AI is out of this world. I think what scares me with aliens and everything, and we're going to watch this trailer here in the next couple secs here, but I wanted to sort of preface it and set it up, because they know what the trailer doesn't really say much. It's like sound bites. Like, give us a morsel, give us something to just give us something to chew on. But even in the movie, some people argue in some of the reviews that there really isn't enough meat on there. What else did I want to I actually did a video. We're going to watch it after. I did a video on why I think there's the evidence why aliens are not amongst us. I mean, there's a lot of it, but let's watch this. Let's watch this.
The American people are ready.
Okay, so this is the trailer for the new Amazon Prime movie. Let's just listen to it. Let's go.
The American people are ready to receive the truth.
Humanity is not the only intelligence in the universe.
Humanity is...
Now that's a matter of fact. There's 2 trillion galaxies in the universe. Maybe even more. Like, we don't have an exact number. You start getting to the number 2 trillion, and you might be off by 1 or 2, right? Trillions. It's like Brian Cox, and I do tend to agree with Brian Cox. Are we the only intelligent life in the Milky Way right now? We have been alive for a fraction of the Earth's life, right? The Earth is 4.6 billion years old. Our solar system, we've been around for 100? We've been sending signals out for 100 years, radio signals. And even at 100 years out at the speed of light, they're starting to decay. So the idea that we are not the only intelligent life in the universe, of course. I mean, that's
not the only intelligent species.
We are absolutely not alone.
Non-human intelligence exists. UAPs are real. They're here, and they're not human.
So I don't even from that section of the trailer, did we hear anything new? We're not alone. Well, of course we're not. I mean, UAPs are real. Yeah, I mean, that's unidentified. They changed it. Unidentified. They changed it to anomalous. Because they're so tricky. They try to fuck you up all the time. I still like UFO. Can I just say UFO? Why do we lose our... What? Sorry, guys. Can you hear that? Because I do not hear anything. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is one of the things when you're doing stuff live. I don't know if it's just my speakers. Do you hear the video? Oh, okay, you know what? My apologies, guys. Let me add this back on here. Oh, this is what every YouTuber goes, "Oh, please don't do this to me." Age of disclosure.
The American people
There we
are
go.
ready.
I got it back. My apologies,
Exists.
guys.
UAPs are
My
real.
apologies.
They're here, and they're not human. I spent 25 years as a senior official with the CIA.
I worked on highly classified UAP programs.
28 years as an astrophysicist.
I served as the 4th Director of National Intelligence.
Director of Aviation Security in the
I wouldn't trust Clapper as far as I could throw him. I could probably throw it pretty far. Like not a huge distance, but you know.
National Security Council.
A one-star admiral after 32 years of service.
One-star admiral, like fuck all in the. I mean, that's low level. You don't.
They come forward with this. I feel like they've taken their life in their own hands.
I was recruited to a highly sensitive government program that investigated unidentified aerial phenomenon.
For over 16 years, on behalf of the U.S. government, I worked as a senior intelligence official on the unidentified aerial phenomenon topic.
One argument I would make, you hear all these people coming and saying stuff. So if you are the government and you are working on high-tech military stuff that you got to test, but you don't want anyone to know about it. That's what if you ask me, the path of least resistance, Murphy's Law, it is much easier for the government to establish this idea that aliens might exist to divert all this attention away so that they can do everything and then just, well, you know, it could be this, it could be this. Well, that to me is logical. And it's like I say, the government has, how many false flags do you think that we've had over the last 80 years? I would argue just recently we've had a manufactured reality with the Charlie Kirk thing. I mean, if you believe anything that's happened there, you ain't paying attention to any of the evidence. 9/11, Tucker's kicking ass with 9/11. If it comes from the government, Ronald Reagan, even though I do not believe in the good Lord, God rest his soul, the statement that I am from the government and I'm here to help. No, you're not. I never trust the government. And this stuff is coming from the government. They're not trying to hide it. They're trying to put it out there. That's the way I see a lot of these people.
We learned that the U.S. government was involved in a long-running secret war with other nations to collect and reverse engineer vehicles not made by humans.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
So look at that thing. It's rotating. There's a whole fleet of them.
The first country that cracks the code on this technology will be the leader for years to come.
China has established its own version of a UAP task force.
You think for a second that they wouldn't consider using it to achieve their ends of domination?
This is
why the China mystery always does a good job of adding mystery. Well, if China's doing it, well, we better hurry, like double up our, I don't think there's any anti-gravity system that exists. I did a video about 6 weeks ago on taking a look at all the different ways that anti-gravity could be done, or there's nothing even close. There's this idea of quantum gravity, which actually I'm working on a video on quantum gravity. I'm working on too many videos. conceptually, so there's something, again, at the quantum level, trying to take the theory of everything, right? To tie quantum gravity with real world gravity and make it fit is a big issue.
Similar to the Manhattan Project, this is the atomic weapon on steroids.
This is so secret. Very, very few people in our entire government have been allowed access to it.
Even presidents have been operating on a need-to-know basis.
So the idea, I mean, what is the China mystery? Well, the China mystery, I mean, everything in China is a mystery. Like, what are they working on? What's their tech? What's, it's always going to be an idea that, what are they doing? I don't think China's as far along as we think they are. I think their military tech sucks ass. I think if it was put to the test, it'd be a little bit like Putin's army against, I mean, Putin. I mean, I never trust a guy whose first syllable is poo. I mean, that's kind of my first thing I kind of say. But I don't think does China have UFOs that they've captured and they're taking? I mean, I think if UFOs have got the kind of power that we're talking about, I think they'd probably send in their own little Green Beret team. Wipe out they would create a distraction. They'd have so much high-tech shit that they could make it look like whatever they want to get their people back or their tech back or whatever it is. If they've got that kind of tech, if they can go light years, if they've developed warp technology, I'll guarantee you they have technology that they could go get their shit back and make it look like some dumb phenomenon that dumb humans would believe. It doesn't make any sense. But I am open to the arguments. I am. I really am. If Marco Rubio believes in aliens, sorry, man, can't buy it.
But that begins to ramp out of control.
It's not acceptable to have secret parts of government that no one ever sees.
You better be careful about a government that doesn't trust its people.
That is true. That is true. You talk about a problem to a threat to the people, parts of the government that nobody sees, not even the president. Guys, like, that is freaking scary, right? Because that is not a civilian government in control. That's scary. If this shit's going on and the president of the United States does not know, which if it is going on, I hold out a small percentage that it is, that probably that they are held in the darkness. They come every 4 years, 8 years, they're gone.
Because there's no telling what they'll pull on you.
This is the biggest discovery in human history.
You had information being locked away that could change the trajectory for species.
It has so many beneficial impacts, including clean energy.
We should have disclosure today.
And politicians, the political system is broken. I think the military wants the American people, the world, to know what's actually going on. They use misinformation as their distraction, just like Avi Loeb and his BS. If the government wants us to believe, is leading us in a certain direction, don't believe them. Hey, that's me. That's the cynic in me.
Should have disclosure tomorrow. The time has come.
What else you want to know?
Have you seen Aliens? Have you seen Aliens? That's all I want to know. Coming soon. It was released today, right? I think it was released today. And so, look, I mean, I think it's an awesome topic to discuss, right? I am, like I say, I'm a Spock kind of guy. 1 + 1 = 2. I need a lot of evidence before I am, I mean, I see someone in the chat says, Jesus loves you and died for you on the cross for your sin. For my sin? I only have one? Well, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I mean, do I applaud? Do I applaud Jesus? Hey, look, you know what? If you believe in Jesus and religion, I'll never take that away from you. I have no I think anyone in the science field or anyone that is, you can't argue religion. You can't argue a belief when the evidence is basically found in caves on scrolls, right? The only thing that religion is going to find into the future is more caves and more more scrolls in more caves put there by men who are basically then cavemen. That's all religion can give us is more scrolls. Cell phones, cars, cameras, lights, camera, action. Science is the only motherfucking superpower. Science is the superpower. Nothing in this world. Science has constantly proven superstition wrong. Over and over and over. But science is the superpower. Ask Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. But anyway, guys, so that's the Age of Disclosure. It's out today. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. I am. Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I like watching this, but again, I'm not a believer. I don't think. I don't think that aliens have. I just want to remove that. I want to put the IMDb up. Share screen, Age of Disclosure, IMDb, because basically, is that going to work the best? I'm going to remove that. Holy geez, you know what? I would love to have a. Okay, there we go. So this is the Age of Disclosure, the IMDb page. I'm going to move this over here. I so wish I had I guess in Hollywood, it would be called a production assistant. A production assistant. So you got 1.7 thousand. You got a 7.1, which isn't bad. But you know what? Hey, this is a matter of fact. I know this and you guys probably know this as a matter of fact as well. If you give a low score, if you give a low score on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, I'm not sure about Metacritic. If you give a low score and there's certain trigger words, all associated with that whole DEI stuff, it gets removed. Only low scores. High scores never get removed. Never. But if you have a 1 or a 2 and you put the wrong word in your description, it gets removed. Now, this was it. I wanted to mention this because there is a company called Fashion Nova. There is a company called fashionnova.com. Because they were removing 1, 2, and 3-star reviews from their product categories. They got fined millions of dollars from the federal government. Millions of dollars for faking reviews, for deleting low review scores. Why are the big companies, why isn't that same standard put to IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes? You got movies that you want us to see, but yet you're removing low scores to make shit look better than it is? For whatever the reason, who cares what someone's reason is for calling a movie crap? Fashion Nova got fined millions of dollars for faking reviews. Why? I'll tell you why. Who owns IMDb? Fucking Amazon owns it. Jeff Bezos is a big chicken in the coop. The Fashion Nova people, I mean, they're just, peons. But if one company, one small company was taken out back and brutalized, why is not IMDb, and you can Google it, Fashion Nova, a FCC fine for faking reviews. If you're removing low star reviews, Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, we know you're fucking doing it. Everyone knows you're doing it. So it's one of my beefs. It really is. So what is the log line? So the log line is featuring 34 U.S. government insiders. This explosive documentary reveals an 80-year global cover-up right around, well, call it 60 or 70-year cover-up, which is right around Roswell. of non-human intelligent life and a secret war among major nations to reverse engineer advanced technology of non-human origin. I mean, hey, if you believe in it, you know, I just want to go to the reviews. What are people saying? User reviews. Talk to me. Fucking advertising, right? Isn't it just crazy? You cannot get away from advertising. Nothing that you do, and it just becomes more prevalent, like right in your face. The usual suspects come clean, 9 out of 10. Validation for what I already thought, 8 out of 10. So that's just a 1 out of 10. Nothing new, a 2-hour summary. That's my impression of what we're going to get without seeing it. Just, okay, it's just more fresh meat that people who want to believe. A best of edit as best. Exceeded high, so there's 9 out of 10. Exceeded high expectations. The age of disclosure goes far beyond the usual disclosure on aerial phenomenon. The individuals featured in this documentary are not speculating, they are testifying. We'll see tomorrow. They speak directly of recovered crafts. Here's the thing, again, I say this, guys, how easy is it for the government to create recovered crafts and bodies if they want? So the argument for what I say is it'll be very easy for the government to send a few people in and get them out there talking so we can do all of our tests and blame UFOs, UAPs. It would be so easy. It would be the path of least resistance. And if you are high-level Pentagon, I'm talking echelon, the top 10 people up there, and you want to confuse people, that's what you do. It wouldn't be hard. It wouldn't be hard. Look what we found. Can you touch it? No. You can look at it. You can look close. 6 out of 10, same Shiat, different documentary. While he featured on JRE podcast, Dan Farah talked about this documentary as a pivotal moment that would shatter the shackles of secrecy and propel the disclosure movement to unprecedented heights. The reality, you've seen and heard all of this on every UFO documentary in the last 10 years. That's my fear. Same poop, same Putin, different pile, baby. That's 10 out of 10. Negativity doesn't work, my friends. For those with 1-star reviews, yes, this is nothing new for those who follow the topic. Well, what are we talking about then? The point of this documentary is that it is the first of its kind to show to the masses, which may not follow this topic, that we truly aren't alone. A whole bunch of people stating it is not fact. I don't care how many people say that they were high up in this and that and yada, yada, yada. And I'm saying that the government wants them to go out there and say that. That is the path of least resistance. The military find out, holy shit, we can make people believe in aliens. Instead of them doing all of their secret high-tech gadgetry, experiments, and it just falls back. It makes it so easy for them. That's what I say. I've never seen evidence. It's like ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts. Everyone that says, well, I ask them, well, how come ghosts don't attack me? Well, because you don't believe in them. Really? So ghosts, there's like when you die, you go to ghost school and they tell ghosts, look, you cannot attack people that do not believe in you, okay? That's the number one. There's 3 rules to Ghost Fight Club. You can't go and scare motherfucking corporeal human beings if they don't believe in you. That's rule number 1. Really? It's like ghost school that these, fuck. Age of Disclosure that took a year to release. This documentary has been ready for release for almost a year. Wouldn't the very premise of this documentary demand it be released as soon as possible? Now that is true. If it's so urgent, it is so a matter of fact. Wouldn't that be an integral part of what disclosure represents? Yes. The fact that Joe Rogan mentioned he had seen it in the last 6 Oh, I didn't know this. The fact that Joe Rogan mentioned he had seen it at least 6 months ago shows disclosure is not the agenda. I didn't know. This content has been around for years now. My takeaway is this doesn't disclose anything new. That's what my thoughts are on this thing, guys. 7 out of 10. Some noteworthy claims, low on specifics. It's always low on specifics. That's what evidence is required, though. Minute, detailed specifics. That is what evidence requires. Peer-reviewed science. There's a whole... And guys, remember. There is an entire industry that makes a shitload of money on the fact that people need to believe that there are aliens. There's more money in the alien believing business than there is in the alien not believing business. That is... There are huge financial rewards to so many people that if people even hold out the smallest chance that alien motherfuckers exist, they are going to watch the videos. They're going to buy buy the books, buy this and that, watch everything. There's more at stake for these people who believe than there is for people like me who don't believe. Not believing doesn't make me any money, but if I want to sell books, you don't write a book about not believing. Absolutely nothing new. 1 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Military industrial complex pushing fear. My friend, exactly. And you gave it a 5. There's been a long time narrative about November alien invasion over social media. Drone sighting. Remember the drone sightings in New Jersey and all over Europe? Trump himself says they know what these are and where they came from. Plot twist. I don't think, but he wouldn't say it. It's probably so stupid, right? Huntsville, as Amy Acker said, I do not deny existence of aliens, but I believe most of these UAP sightings are military-industrial complex running crafts on aneutronic fusion. They might have acquired tech from it's her comment. They might have acquired tech from aliens, Atlanteans, Nazis, or whatever. I honestly do not care at this point. What I'm sure about is the military-industrial complex has free energy. Has free energy technology, and if they were to release it, weapon corporations would be sued into oblivion, which is probably correct. I'm going to give that a light applause. 5 out of 10. That's it for me. I think the documentary overreaches. It builds a dramatic narrative on circumstantial testimony and political frustration rather than empirical evidence. That's what it always does. That's what all the alien bullshit does. That's what Stargate underneath the Great Pyramids does. All this stuff, guys. We see nothing unrealistic in our world. Nothing. I have tried to walk on water. I almost drowned twice. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. 1 out of 10, a documentary for the feeble-minded. Oh, jeez. No, I want the light. I want the laughs. Now that's harsh, man. I mean, okay, a documentary for the feeble-minded is so much easier to believe in a conspiracy than it is to deal with the stark realization that reality is just a chaotic mess. Exactly, it is chaotic. I mean, governments create crisis. How do governments stay in power? They fucking create crisis. That is the fulcrum of how governments maintain control over people. And as AI becomes magnified in our zeitgeist, COVID, guys, I lived in Los Angeles for 20 years. I was in Los Angeles during COVID. When Newsom announced that California is going to be shut down, I was convinced that there were going to be people on the streets. Nobody. Everyone was like, they were trained lapdogs. Everyone stayed in their homes. So do not tell me that the American public will rise up. That was a test run. The American public were lapdogs. I don't know what it'll take, but this whole alien thing False flag is like an ongoing false flag. The idea that you can control the population through fear. Suggesting that 3-Eye Atlas are a bunch of aliens, an alien ship. Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb. Israeli American astronomer Avi Loeb. Saying a lot of bullshit. 10 out of 10. Well, you know what? 10. Hey, I as a screenwriter, I don't argue opinion. Some people like a movie, some people hate a movie. You can go into the story mechanics and say, look, the story mechanics sucked ass. But The Age of Disclosure is a captivating and thoughtful, thought-provoking documentary that blends solid research with compelling storytelling. I thought it was a documentary. Dude, storytelling? It maintains a perfect balance of mystery, credibility, and emotion, pulling you in from the first scene. Well, was it fiction or science fiction? Okay, all right. The interviews feel authentic, the pacing is right, and the visuals are stunning. So this is someone who worked on the crew. This is someone who worked, like, they helped, probably one of the editors, I think. So 1 out of 10. You know what? 10 out of 10. 5 out of 10. 4 out of 10. The same old. One thing is, everyone on a production gets their marching orders. You have to go and you go online and you put your 10 out of 10. If you worked on a production, that's what you do. So I'm sure that there were probably a couple hundred people in one way or another that worked on it. Wow, 10 out of 10. Wow, this documentary is an absolute masterpiece. That's strong language. That sounds like crew, right? What was that? What was the director's name? Yeah, don't do a 10 out of 10 on that. Do a 9 out of 10. So entertaining yet. 1 out of 10, riddled with lies and propaganda. Guys, it's a lot easier for the government to put the stuff out than it is. People want to believe in aliens. I want to believe in aliens. I always say I want to believe in Jesus Christ. I would love to believe in fucking heaven. Who wouldn't want to believe in heaven? I tell all my religious friends, why do I not want to believe in a heaven where I go and I have eternal fun forever? How is that not something you want to believe in? No, I want to just go into the next world and have it like, of course I want to believe in an afterlife. Logic compels me that I need just a little bit more evidence than someone telling me 2,000 years ago that someone walked on water. I just need a little bit more. I didn't need to take water to convert it to wine. I got a glass of wine here as it is. So, can I get applause? Thank you. Thank you. To your health. Oh, he's very good, my friend. Very good. So anyway, let's get back to this. So the comments are always interesting. We touched only surface level on those, but the comments are interesting. And so I did a video on the idea of aliens. Do aliens exist? And I went into sort of some of the ideas why and a lot of the reasons why not. And it's about 9 minutes. So this is a video, like I said, I did about, maybe it was 2 months ago. So this is, let's take a look at the video.
For decades, the idea of alien life visiting Earth has captivated the human imagination. From science fiction novels to blockbuster movies and late-night conspiracy theories, the belief that intelligent extraterrestrials might be visiting Earth is a narrative deeply embedded in popular culture. Could an alien civilization be watching and studying us while trying to remain undetectable and out of sight? For an advanced alien civilization to be visiting Earth, two things must be a matter of fact. First, other intelligent alien species must exist. And secondly, they must have technology so advanced that only our most ambitious theoretical ideas could come close to matching it.
And so those are the two conditions. For aliens to have visited us or being with us, they have to exist. Obviously, and they must possess technology that is. I've never believed that there's no technology that can break the laws of physics. It's not going to happen. So if they're going to travel FTL, you can't go FTL, faster than light speed. You're going to have some sort of a warp drive, Star Wars hyperdrive. There's only one place where the fabric of space-time is warped to the point of actually being bent and destroyed. And that's a black hole. And I've never seen anyone throwing a saddle up on ton 618 and saying, giddy up, baby. It's a hard thing. I mean, like I say, Avatar, like the propulsion system they use to get to Alpha Centauri, which is only the closest star system to, it's a one star system that's 4.3 light years away. It takes... And that science is rooted in real physics, right? James Cameron's Avatar, the ISVs. It requires antimatter. It requires a laser system that shoots a powerful laser beam at a mirror to have the photons propel the ship forward. And then it used the thrusters to try and slow down going into the star. This is crazy stuff. Now, you just cannot say, well, they have the technology and then just leave it at that. Well, your explanation for aliens is no better for the existence of a deity for a religion, for any religion. It's no better. It's no different. You're using the same logic for the existence of God. If you believe in aliens from that perspective, you have to believe, or you need to be at least malleable to the idea that a God or a deity exists as religion describes it. Because that is the level of proof that exists. It's circumstantial. It's
one of the most compelling arguments for alien life to actually exist is the sheer size and scale of the universe. Our Milky Way galaxy alone contains over 200 billion stars, and there are estimated to be more than 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. With such mind-boggling numbers, it's statistically inevitable that life must have arisen somewhere else in our galaxy and universe. But numbers alone do not guarantee life, let alone intelligent, technologically advanced civilizations capable of interstellar travel.
And that's... I agree with Brian Cox. If you've listened to Brian Cox basically, he believes that we are probably the only intelligent life in the Milky Way galaxy. I don't think that's a stretch. I think there's probably, given the fact that Earth is 4 or 5 billion years old, we've been around for 100 years in terms of just technology, which is like a second. You know, if the calendar, a full 1 year calendar is the life cycle of the Earth, we are like less than a second on that calendar, right? And you can argue, based on everything we see, the human species, what we do to each other, how we do it, with the ferocity we do it with, are we going to be around 100 years from now? I mean, what do you guys think? Honestly, are we going to be around, or are we going to wipe ourselves out? There are days where I think there's a good chance. I mean,
When we look closer at the requirements for life, stable planetary systems, the presence of water, appropriate chemical conditions, and billions of years of uninterrupted stability, the odds begin to narrow significantly. The Goldilocks conditions that made Earth a cradle for life may be rarer than we first thought. Even if life does exist elsewhere, the question of intelligent life, life that develops language, technology, and interstellar ambitions, is significantly more improbable. Life on Earth began nearly 4 billion years ago, yet humans have existed for a sliver of that time.
A tiny sliver. Pigs too. Nothing to do. You was created from dogs, monkeys, eagles, and giant roaches. Pigs too. No, if you look at the actual tree, that is not true, my friend. You're just making things up as you go along. But that's okay. You know, I like good debate. I don't know if that's good debate, nothing, but you're certainly welcome to an opinion.
Human civilization has developed only in the past 10,000 years, and radio technology, the means by which we could even announce our presence to the cosmos, has existed for barely over a century. If intelligent life had arisen elsewhere in the galaxy with similar or greater capabilities, we might expect to see some signs. Perhaps some kind of signals, probes, megastructures, or even direct contact. But there is nothing but silence.
And that is a problem, right? There's nothing but silence. We've got thousands of radio telescopes pointed everywhere, like we're listening, like something somewhere somehow. It's like, what is it on Loki when Thor says, you know, and then Iron Man comes, I'm listening. Guys, there's.
This is known as the Fermi paradox.
Yeah, Fermi paradox.
If the universe is so vast and old, and intelligent life is not exceedingly rare, then where is everyone? One of the obvious answers to that question is that other advanced civilizations simply do not exist.
I got nothing to do, dude. You're telling me you're talking about draconian, you're talking about reptilian and draconian insectoids. There are different aliens, and you're calling me so unintelligent? I don't even have to respond to that. I mean, and each one of us, of these alien species, created us in their own image in the place or in different parts of the world. I mean, I don't even have to respond to that. Your statements rest. I mean,
or they are so few and far between that the odds of encountering them are essentially zero. Distance is by far the biggest factor prohibiting interstellar travel. Even the nearest star system to Earth, Alpha Centauri, is over 4 light years away. That may not sound like much in cosmic terms, but with current technology, it would take tens of thousands of years to travel there.
The fastest ship that we've created, or the fastest, is the Sun one. The one that and the name escapes me. 120. It was 126,000 miles per hour. The Sun probe, and it would take 70,000 years to reach Alpha Centauri. 70,000 years. I mean, that's when we were hanging out with the Neanderthal.
Intergalactic travel, the kind we see in science fiction, faces nearly insurmountable barriers. The speed of light is a hard cosmic speed limit, and accelerating a spacecraft to even a fraction of that speed requires energy far beyond anything humanity can produce today or in the foreseeable future. Another barrier to achieving the kind of space travel needed for an alien species to visit us is the lethal and hostile nature of space.
And that is a matter of fact. So in the Avatar video that I just did, I actually did the math on a 1 milligram particle of dust traveling at 70% the speed of light. A 1 milligram particle of dust traveling at 70% the speed of light would hit a spaceship the equivalent of 8.6 tons of TNT. 1 milligram at 70% of the speed of light would hit a spaceship the equivalent of 8.6 tons of TNT. That is insane.
Cosmic radiation, micrometeorites, the vacuum itself, and lack of gravity poses serious challenges for any long-term voyage. Even with theoretical propulsion systems such as nuclear fusion drives or antimatter engines, there are no practical or tested solutions that make interstellar travel feasible. A warp drive is plagued with massive barriers, such as enormous energy requirements and the need for ungodly amounts of negative energy. Advanced civilizations face the same physical laws that we do, unless they possess godlike technologies indistinguishable from magic. But there is zero evidence such radical powers even exists in our universe.
There's zero evidence. I mean, we have telescopes pointed everywhere. We're looking at galaxies. We're finding black holes that are 13.4 billion light years away. UNHZ1 is a black hole that is a supermassive black hole that is only 400 million years old. And was it 100 million solar masses? They estimated it's probably over 100 billion solar masses today. We are finding stuff at there's one telescope. I did the news story yesterday. One telescope in itself in 1 year located 1.2 million galaxies. We take pictures of stuff everywhere. We have mapped our known universe and we have seen nothing weird, nothing that is, well, I shouldn't say that. Anomalous to the point that it would suggest alien intelligence, right? We find lots of shit we don't understand. But does it equate to alien technology? Nothing. It's like ghosts. There's no evidence for ghosts unless you really, really want to believe it because you're scared of the dark. I mean,
it seems far more plausible that if such alien beings existed, their focus would be on harnessing new sources of energy and exploring nearby planetary systems for other valuable resources. Many people use UFO sightings as proof that aliens are visiting Earth, suggesting that it is credible evidence. It's not. The modern wave of UFO phenomena began at a very specific point in history, the late 1940s, shortly after World War II. This period coincided with the rise of broadcast technology, global news networks, and the beginning of the Cold War.
And I see, a lot of the comments that are coming up, and I get it. I don't want to interrupt the video until we get finished with it. Yes, there's like, you talk about the simulation theory. You talk about all of these ideas. Simulation theory has a basis in fact, right? James Gates, he found error-correcting codes within the fabric of the universe. Error-correcting codes that work almost exactly the same as error-correcting codes within our computers. So that the information that is distributed throughout the universe has a very similar system of error-correcting code, underlying it to ensure that reality is what it is. Just like in our computers, we have error-correcting codes to ensure the data that's being transmitted is the data that it should be. So, there's a lot of you can't equate. So someone from 400 years ago comes and sees technology today. Will they be wiped? Would their head be like, "Holy fuck"? Of course they would be. Or would they? Because if we go 1,000 years into the future, would we, and they're doing stuff that we might think is impossible today, would we be surprised? No, because we know what technology can do. I mean, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to try and the UFO sightings on Earth are probably still natural or semi-terrestrial events. I mean, I think I think a lot of them are government created or they're unexplained, and behind them there's an easy explanation. Whether you believe in UAPs or not, that they are actual alien technology, UAPs exist because they're just unexplained phenomenon, right? They exist. They're unexplained stuff. Whether you believe they are alien technology. I don't. There's no evidence for it.
In 1947, the infamous Roswell incident sparked a media frenzy, and shortly afterward, reports of flying saucers began pouring in endlessly. This sudden spike in UFO sightings was more likely a result of new methods of information dissemination, mass communication, and psychological priming. Once the idea of alien spacecraft entered the public consciousness, it became a cultural phenomenon. One that is shaped by science fiction, military secrecy, and Cold War paranoia. It's also worth noting that there are over 100,000 commercial flights occurring daily, monitored by thousands of radar and air traffic control systems across the globe.
that was a real map. The sheer amount of radar that is in private use, military use, government use, global use, in countries, hundreds of thousands of radar everywhere. But yet we don't detect any aliens flying through our atmosphere. There is absolutely no way for a spaceship or any ship or any object to fly through our atmosphere at high speeds without creating a massive energy trail. You cannot fly through the atmosphere. I mean, if the Flash didn't have Speed Force, I mean, come on. I mean, I think there's some people that actually believe Flash, that the Speed Force exists. I mean, I did a video on Flash, and people are just, all they're bringing up. So I'm trying to do the physics of someone going that fast. What would happen? I said, well, what about the Speed Force? Okay. Oh, dude, come on, dude, work with me here. Can you just drop the speed? We're just doing physics here, just doing regular basic. But there's no way, like when an asteroid hits our atmosphere, it turns into a ball. When a ship, a spaceship or an orbital mass goes through our atmosphere and it turns into a fireball. Anything going through our atmosphere turns into a fireball. So does alien tech, and you just cannot say. Two things you cannot say. You cannot say, well, the aliens will have the technology to break the laws of physics, and Tony Stark will figure it out. Both of those are bullshit. Although I think Tony Stark will figure it out, I believe more.
Not to mention the thousands of scientific research and military sites, submarines, ships, and vehicles scanning for any minor anomaly. Despite this vast, constantly active web of surveillance and tracking infrastructure, no verified extraterrestrial craft has ever been observed or documented. With so many eyes and instruments probing the skies for every minute of the day, the complete lack of confirmed sightings speaks volumes. Prior to the age of global media, there were almost no consistent reports of alien visitors, despite thousands of years of human history under open skies.
And I showed that graph earlier on, right? When you take a look at the dot graph, when did everything explode? It started right just after World War II, right after the nuclear bombs, right after Roswell. And then in the 1990s, when the internet exploded with all the alien movies, when the internet exploded, shared experience became, I mean, the internet and the charts off the graph, right? These are basic human behaviors that you can explain, because before any of this existed, there were no alien abductions before 1940s. There were no crazy things going on, because we have all these people, they are sold a bag of goods. And the government, if the government is trying to sell you on the idea that aliens exist, they're leaking information, they want you to believe aliens exist. Do not believe anything the government says, or they're trying to make you believe. The government is the enemy, my friends.
Ancient myths and religious texts may reference strange beings or celestial events, but these are vague, symbolic, and open to interpretation. It wasn't until people had radios, televisions, and newspapers that UFOs became a standardized narrative. That narrative has been reinforced and reshaped by decades of pop culture, often blurring the line between fiction and fact. Further complicating the matter is the fact that many UFO sightings have later been explained as misidentified aircraft, weather phenomena, astronomical events, or even deliberate hoaxes. Project Blue Book and more recent Pentagon reports have acknowledged that while some sightings remain unidentified, this does not mean they are alien in origin.
And here's the other problem, guys. This is even a bigger problem, okay? Having, like I said, I was 20 years in Hollywood, and I'm a screenwriter. I've done a lot of, I've won a lot of awards screenwriting. Never sold a screenplay because I never wanted one of my screenplays to get fucked up in IMDb at a 3.2 because some dumbass producer wanted to make it for $500,000 and sell it to Europe for $1.5 million. But AI, you want to talk about alien stuff being out now? You just wait now. Believe me, when you take a look at what happened with Charlie Kirk, you're telling me that AI wasn't fronting that thing? Candace Owens saw the video from behind Charlie Kirk. She saw the video. What did she say? There's no blood. There's no blood. Because there was no blood. The only way you can cover up a crime scene with cement 2 days later, if it wasn't a crime scene. I mean, I could get into the Charlie Kirk thing. The government manufactures reality. They want people to believe in aliens. I mean, I've seen, you know, some of the comments. Guys, if the government is trying to convince you of something or is helping you in a direction, you know they're trying to fuck you. The last thing you want to do is believe the government at this point in time. There was a time maybe earlier in the United States history where you could literally believe, but the manufactured reality, we are more and more turning into the Matrix. And with AI, we are going to become, you got to try and distinguish between reality. If it's not real, it doesn't exist. That means ghosts, aliens, all this shit that they're going to try and, because they will twist your mind into knots and make you do what they want to do, just like they locked everyone up in COVID. I'm not even sure if does YouTube shut down videos for saying this shit? I don't even know. I'm not even sure I care. At least, you know what? I'm going to say my mind. And I actually respect everyone's opinion. Like, you know, U7840, everyone, you know, the moon rules, like, all you guys in chat, I'm watching you. I respect your opinion. I got it. And I understand the argument. You're saying stuff that in a format that, at least in today's episode, we can't get at, which is why I'm going to be doing a lot more alien stuff. But I'm not going to go into the idea that Dogman exists or Man, Bear, Pig or the government is pushing people to believe in this stuff. That in itself makes you have to think, second guess everything. Do not believe the government. Don't believe the manufactured reality. Sit back, allow yourself. And I know you have, like a lot of people, you know, Captain Kirk is a character on a TV show. Yes, he is, but fuck, man. William Shatner is still alive, man. Don't burst my bubble. William Shatner is the GOAT. I will be happy in this world as long as William Shatner is in it. I grew up with Star Trek, the original GOAT Star Trek, right? Like, dude, that is like Shatner's God. George Takei, you know, Sulu, you know what? Good. I know they don't get along, but this is the biggest thing. Anything to do with government. Like I say, Ronald Reagan. I'm here from the government and I'm here to help. You better fear those words.
The term UFO simply means unidentified flying object, not proof of extraterrestrial intelligence. Ambiguity is not evidence. The human brain is notoriously prone to pattern recognition, pareidolia, and confirmation bias. Once a person believes in alien visitors, they are more likely to interpret ambiguous lights, dreams, or experiences as confirmation of that belief.
And that goes with everything, right? So once you're open to the idea or believe, even partially believe in a concept, you are much more exposed to the idea of you know, further occurrences being relevant to that belief that you may have established a matter of fact about. I say doubt everything until science proves otherwise. And that includes things like the Big Bang, which is a theory. There's lots of theories. I did a video, 5 explanations why the Big Bang might be wrong. And if it comes from the fucking government, my friends, if the government's trying to make you believe aliens exist, come on. Don't let even, I'm not telling you not to believe. If you believe, I'm just asking you to step back. Step back. Because if the government gets all of us believing that aliens exist and there's little lizard people coming I mean, what's his name? The Patch, Marvel. I forgot his name. He married a fucking lizard. I can't even. Marvel has been gone for so long from my zeitgeist. I can't even remember the names of these characters. What was his name? The Samuel L. Jackson. You know, the guy with the patch. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Principle of doubt. I think the principle of doubt, Descartes, Descartes has got something going on here with all of this stuff. The principle of doubt, the philosopher Descartes, I remember in philosophy class, learning, applies to a lot of things, especially in this modern world of manufactured reality. We got to step back and say, whoa, who is trying to convince us? And what are they trying to convince us of?
Entire communities and industries have formed around the idea, making it a profitable and self-reinforcing system of belief. Belief in UFOs is no different than the belief in a god. They both rely on faith in the unseen, rooted more in personal conviction, anecdotal experiences, and cultural narratives than in empirical evidence. Both beliefs fill existential gaps, offering explanations for the unknown or unanswerable aspects of human existence.
Use 7840 in the comments. I mean, that's actually, quite profound. It's not really any different than the religions of the past. Everything is skewed for those who have power to keep power. Others must be confused. I've always maintained, why does the government love religion? Because it herds people into a single way of thinking that is premised on blind faith. Now, I will not take away someone's blind faith. As a matter of fact, I think the majority of the population needs it, or they'd be so lost it would be almost scary, because otherwise they're reaching for aliens and I don't know what else. But anytime you rope people, and the level of evidence is blind faith, that's an easy way to control a lot of people in a very simple and easy way. It is the way the Roman Catholic Church kept power for 1,000 years. We've lost 1,000 years of our history. We could have been 1,000 years further ahead, but that is very true. I mean, because this is not a religious show. Goddess Universe is about explaining the universe with science, non-miracle stuff, right? That's what the Godless Universe is all about. But angels are alien in Bible. Aliens. Well, I mean, I've read the Bible, and I'm still agnostic. I'm agnostic because I believe the simulation theory might have a 0.1% chance of being true. So then by default, I have to be agnostic. I have to be, right? Because the simulation theory would suggest that the programmer would be the creator, and the creator therefore would be the entity. Or maybe God is like, I did do a video on the creator, that God, like 5 different reasons or ideas of God. It will be like a 10th dimensional being, so far beyond our comprehension. We ants to our foot would be like high tech. Who knows? If we keep our minds grounded in reality and don't let the government convince us of stuff that maybe we should doubt, the principle of doubt, Descartes, will be better off.
In each case, the absence of definitive proof is often interpreted not as disproof, but as a mysterious confirmation of something that we have no evidence for its existence. The search for extraterrestrial life is not futile, and scientists continue to explore planets beyond our solar system, examining the chemical signatures in distant atmospheres and listening for potential alien radio signals. These efforts are rooted in careful observation, skepticism, and a deep curiosity about our place in the universe. But so far, they have found nothing, no signals, no structures, no hint of alien life existing outside our solar system.
Nothing. We found nothing. Nothing. There are so many eyes and ears that are pinned to our universe, and we see nothing that even remotely says we're aliens and we're here to help. Oh, wait, that's the government. I have not, Diogenes, I have not. I wrote the name down. I'll look into that. But I have as a country, as a species, as a unified group of intelligent beings, there is no evidence. Like, if you are flying a warp drive system and you come anywhere close to our solar system, the amount of energy, so when you create a warp bubble and it flies through space, just the radiation particles that accumulates at the front of a warp bubble is astronomical. And the problem is when you break that warp bubble, you have this massive explosion of radiation that is accumulated, because throughout space there is just endless radiation. That is another problem with the warp bubble, right? As you fly through, you don't really fly through space, but you fly through distorted warp space-time. The amount of radiation that accumulates at the nose of that warp bubble is absolutely insane. Insane. There's no solution to it. We would see these signatures, energy signatures, whatever we would see some sort of an anomaly around the Earth or close to it. We see shit from 13.5 billion light years away. Don't tell me we're not going to see this from 20 trillion miles away, which is only, what, 2-3 light years? 3 light years? What is a light year? 6 trillion miles, right? A light year is 6 trillion miles. So Avatar has to fly 27 trillion light years. Like I say, I just did a video on their propulsion system, and just getting to Alpha Centauri is insane. Let alone, oh man, I would love to think that there are aliens traversing across our galaxy. I like to think that we're going to do it one day. It's not going to be our lifetime, right? The only thing we're going to be able to do is sit here and argue about it. But oh man, how many of us would not want to be Captain Kirk, right? I watch the old episodes on Paramount all the time, all 79 episodes, and I freaking love them as much as when I was 10 years old watching them in, 1977. But guys, there's no energy signature or anything that suggests that there is alien technology. And it's like, it's the same thing. Brian Cox is the same thing. Like, we would detect an energy signature. We would.
The vast silence of space suggests that life, especially life like us, might be far more exceptional than we imagined. The absence of evidence is not necessarily evidence of absence, but it seems increasingly reasonable to consider that we are completely alone and are not being visited and studied by aliens. I'd like to thank you for exploring the phenomena of alien visits to Earth, and I invite you back for our next episode of A Godless Universe.
For explanation, people ask me, well, how come you don't use your own voice? So I spent 20 years in Los Angeles. The last 18, almost 2 years, Los Angeles is fucking a shithole, guys. It is a shithole. Everyone I knew who had a business went out of business. It is entire blocks, Los Angeles Street, boarded up for a mile just off downtown. You got the Santee Alley, Wall Street, going into the fashion district on San Pedro. It is small business annihilation. I sold whatever I could. I had to close my YouTube studio and everything like that. And so I thought, well, if I don't have a studio, I'm going to use a kick-ass British voice. I write all the scripts. I am a screenwriter. I don't use I use AI for ideas. I think everyone does. There's no use going through and Googling everything when AI can just summarize it for you in nice little pockets. But as a screenwriter, part of the fun of writing this shit is writing this shit. People ask me, would I use AI to write one of my screenplays? You can Google me, Danny Alex, screenwriter. I have won hundreds of film festivals around the world, some very large ones, and I've never sold one of my screenplays. And I will not. I started YouTube because one day, if I build a base of people, I will create. I know directors from New Zealand that, right into, Peter Jackson camp. But you don't. So creating these scripts, whether it's science or whatever it is so important. who voices it is not as important. I might start voicing my own scripts again now that my live studio is up and working. I haven't decided that because I do like that low end British voice. But it's anyway. That's I can probably put. Can I go big? I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna even go bigger. Oh, look at that ugly face. Look at that mug. What if we found ruins on the moon and Mars and it was humans 100 million years ago? It wouldn't be humans 100 million years ago. What I find fascinating, people asking, what about those ruins on Mars? What do they call them? With a face from above, and they... NASA does not, and how come NASA doesn't want to solve that? It's very simple, because the mystery of Mars ensures there's budgets. If they dismiss all that stuff, they need people talking about Mars and the mystery of it. That is what, between movies, that is what keeps fan talk alive, mystery. That is what keeps everyone discussing it, right? Mystery. There are some things with the moon, like the depth of craters, because craters apparently don't go past a certain depth. I've seen like the what is it? The What If files. I've watched some of this stuff. Of course, look, man, what we find is the last 6,000 years, science has taken superstition and crushed it at every level. And science will continue to do so. Those things we thought that were magic 200 years ago, science has explained it in ways that are, oh, okay, I get it. Could you imagine a cell phone going back and, going back to Richard the Lionheart? Sir, you've got a phone call. Excuse me, I got what? You got a phone call. The fact that voices could travel through open air, I don't think we would be as surprised with new technology if we went, because we are not surprised by technology and what's possible. But I think what I have to do, I have to start doing a lot more alien episodes. And, I'm doing all the propulsion systems for all the movies. Stargate was, and even Battlestar Galactica. I learned a lot doing the Avatar one. Star Trek, because I know Star Trek so well, wasn't, and then Star Wars wasn't as much. But I think, guys, when it comes to aliens, Chuck Norris. What Chuck Norris? You know what? I used to be I was a kickboxer for 8 years. And I still train, man. I used to wear cowboy boots because Chuck Norris wore cowboy boots fighting. So I used to wear cowboy boots all the time. I used to learn practice kicking in cowboy boots and everything. And Chuck Norris is the fuck. There's like, did you hear about the bet Chuck Norris and Superman had? They had a bet that the loser had to wear tights. Did you guys see Superman's? Did you guys like James Gunn's Superman costume? I mean, was he wearing his underwear on the outside? That was the worst Superman costume out of all the Superman costumes. James Gunn is a talented man. This is not like, guys, Guardians of the Galaxy was an incredible screenplay. He wrote it. It was a great screenplay. Same with the third one, Galaxy Guardian. He's written some great screenplays. Chris Hansen asked him to take a seat. Chris Hansen. What are we talking about? Chris Hansen asked Chuck Norris to take a seat. Is that what you're saying? Punisher. Motherfucker. Chuck Norris is my man. I actually went to, the reason I went to Los Angeles, because I grew up in Canada. I was born in Europe. I went to Los Angeles because I worked in the public markets and I was a kickboxer. And Wesley Snipes and Chuck Norris were putting together this exercise machine that was resistance out, resistance in. And I said I would do it. So I started doing it. And then I was working with Chuck Norris and Wesley Snipes. And on this, it was called the muscle flex. And then they put Wesley Snipes in jail. For taxes, right? And it ruined everything. So here I was sitting in Los Angeles, go, oh man, fuck. Wesley's in jail. Chuck Norris just got married, and he's like, you know what? I got the total gym. Maybe we should just let this I'm like, oh, geez. I mean, I got some pretty good stories. But the aliens, guys, we're talking aliens. People have cat-like reflexes. Cats say they have People say they have cat-like reflexes. Cats say they have Chuck Norris-like reflexes. Yeah, that is fucking true. That is true. Chuck Norris asked for his beard back. Christopher Reeves is still the best Superman. You know what? So Christopher Reeves is the 1978 Superman. That was groundbreaking. If you weren't alive back then, I was alive. I was 11 years old. I remember that. Like, that was Jesus. To all of a sudden see Superman and he crushed it, right? Wesley Snipes killed the fucking Blade story. Killed the fucking Blade. There is no other Blade than Wesley Snipes. But Zack Snyder made the mistake too of doing Man of Steel before putting out a Batman is the DC universe. That is your world building. So if I was the screenwriter for DC universe, I would take Batman because everything you need for world building, for tone, is in Batman. And then you put Superman. And Henry Cavill was a fucking awesome Superman. Henry Cavill was, I forgot the dude's name that he played Superman. And nothing against him. Like, he had kind of a good persona. It's kind of like The Witcher. Liam Hemsworth. I keep saying Liam Neeson. Liam Hemsworth had the stature to be a Witcher. But he had that one face. Yes, Geralt was, monotone, but he had expressions. Movies are a visual medium, Liam. Or whoever the director was. It was probably direction. Usually when the actor fucks up that bad, it's direction. It's the director. But Liam looked the part, though. He was too pretty. A little too pretty. I don't know if what's his name was the best Superman choice. He was an okay Superman choice, but the scripts can very often make bad actors out of good ones, and the script was not good. The first 20 minutes had to have created the world, man. You're creating the world. Tone building. Stoic. That's what it was. He had one face. That was Geralt. I mean, that was, do you remember the last scene in the first episode of season 4? Pox. The little guy, politically correct, goes running away. And then their little wagon train goes walking off. And then, like timing, like talking about forced plot. 13 guys show up to rape a woman. Like, oh, are you fucking kidding me? You are so bad at creating an instigation for a reason for Geralt to get into a fight. You just pick the most simplest ones. Any screenwriter that uses sex. Zack Snyder did it in Rebel Moon. When they go into the bar and that alien is there and he's got that funny eye and then he wants to nail what's his face and I don't remember the characters' names. And 90-pound girl boss kicks the crap out of 300-pound alien. They had to use sex as anytime a screenwriter uses sex as a reason for an instigation of conflict, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, right? That is the most simplest, basic, elementary level. You're telling me Geralt, all of a sudden, he just starts walking away, 13 brigands just go and start raping a woman? Like, what? That was your best idea? You're sitting in the writer's room. Why don't we have just a rape scene happen right then and there? Like, that's a great idea. No one's going to... That sounds natural. That doesn't sound forced. Everything in fucking Witcher is forced. Everything in The Witcher. Oh, my God. Look, the first season was just as bad. It was a mishmash all over the place. The only reason that people watched The Witcher was for Henry Cavill because he nailed it. And then, of course, girl bosses came in, put Witcher in the background. I mean, episode 3 of Witcher season 4 is a total girl boss, right? It's total girl boss. Like you've got like, have you guys seen episode 3 of The Witcher? You've got some serious... Yennefer's shrinking people and putting them in their cleavage. You guys see that? You guys see that? Yennefer shrinking people and putting them in their cleavage. Now, there is an entire, if you go back to early Ant-Man comics, I don't have to explain. Superheroes were very sexually based way back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I don't need to say anything more, right? But yeah, movies are fun, but just as an escape from the reality of an otherwise boring and repetitive life, I don't know why people get hung up on fiction works, because it's fun to talk about. Fiction works, like, oh my God, what, you just let fiction works sit in their own reality and you can't talk about it? It's like talking about Iron Man tech. You can't talk about Iron Man tech. The fact that he puts a big energy thing in the center of his chest would basically be, if you have that much energy in the middle of your chest, you basically just be, the energy will melt you away. It's a physical impossibility, so you can't talk about the physics. You can't talk about the physics of the Flash if you go faster than, or the speed of light. Dude, like, yes, they're fun. That doesn't mean that you cannot go and assess the physics of it, right? Well, it's fiction, so you can't you can't use nonfiction to determine. Oh, motherfucker, yes, we can. Otherwise, movies like the Fantastic Four will get away with science robbery. Fantastic Four, First Steps, well, should have been First Shits. Never has science been so. At least Christopher Nolan gets science very close, right? James Cameron tries to get science exact. I just ask for science approximate. Fantastic Four was science shitsville. What the? How did Reed Richards know that it would take a month for Silver Surfer to get out of that black hole? How did it get? It was like back of the napkin math. I did the math. I got 2 months. Okay, I got 2 months. Even in Superman. So the one place where Superman wants to fall into is a black hole, right? And in the movie Superman, he's trying not to fall into the black hole. Well, what's in a black hole? Why is it a black hole? Because light can't escape. It's nothing but a lot of fucking light, motherfucker. So Superman falls into the black hole. It'd be kind of like when Thor hits Iron Man with the electricity. 400%. How about that? He'd be like, what? 2,000%? All that light hitting him? Let him fall into. I thought the thing that James Gunn was going to let Superman do was fall into the black hole because it made sense. He comes out uber powerful, right? That's where the fucking light is, because they can't escape. But he tries to stay out of it, which is the exact opposite thing that he should be trying to do. James, you gotta contact some science people when you're doing your scripts. Let Superman fall into the black hole. That's where the light is. He wants yellow light. Even in his movie, he made light a big thing. You know, a burst of yellow light to make him heal, right? When he got beaten up in the opening scene. The robots laid him out. La! The light came and hit him. I thought that would have been a great plot device. He falls into the black hole. Everyone thinks he's dead. Superman's in a black hole. He's dead. He's gone forever. And clone Superman, who looked like fucking Anakin Skywalker. I mean, totally. Tell me that dude did not look like Anakin Skywalker. But that would have been the perfect. Like, so as a screenwriter, this is the way I think. Let the clone win. Superman falls into the black hole. He's dead. That's it. But the reality is, on the other side of that black hole is so much fucking light, because light can't escape. He comes out and he pounds. He grounds and pounds and grounds, whatever the fucking say it is. The clone, that would have been the ending. James Gunn, Senior Gunn, give me a call. You want some screenwriting help? I'll do it for free, motherfucker. I'll do it for free. Guys, aliens. That was, so today was, like I say, how do we get onto whose fault was it on Superman? Someone in the chat got me started. As a screenwriter, I love talking movies. I have another channel that I just fired back up, Poprageous. And I haven't done anything for 18 months, and I just started it back up because as a screenwriter and spending almost 20 years in Los Angeles, I love science fiction, horror, when you say horror movies, you have to make sure you put the OR at the end, because otherwise you get horror movies, right? Like, I don't write horror, I write horror movies. Do you guys like Weapons? Did you guys like Weapons? I like Weapons until halfway through. And then it was like, oh, fuck. Oh, jeez. That's what I thought. And I think that's why it kind of, and it fizzled at the box office. You know, it's a good streaming watch. I don't think I'd be happy watching it in the theaters. There are some bright spots in the movie. I don't see why the dogs couldn't have followed the kids, what they're running, you know. Did you guys like Frankenstein? My thoughts on Frankenstein, the second half was Shape of Water. It was exactly the Shape of Water. And at the wedding, it turned into Lego blocks. This clunky clunk, clunk. Why is Victor Frankenstein? He knows that Frankenstein is fucking indestructible, right? By this point, he's already discovered. Frankenstein knows that he is indestructible. Why is Frankenstein even running from Victor Frankenstein or the creature? You're chasing him to the ends of the earth. That's how you got to the North Pole? Because Frankenstein was scared? I didn't, like, what? The whole Elizabeth thing, because of course in the original, you know what, guys? I don't know if you guys watch Critical Drinker. I'm sorry. Like, I have plenty of reason. I could go into, there's a lot of stuff I agree with him on. There's a lot of, I talk about surface level, cliched. It's like he repurposes the same sentence, puts it in AI and says, give me a new way of saying the same thing. Never gets into the inciting incident, never gets into plot characters, how the characters are introduced, antagonist, protagonist, just always surface level. He's a great verbal showman. I have a problem with the establishment of critical review on YouTube. He's entertaining, but he knows shit about screenwriting. And it's just a matter of fact. I'm not being mean, right? But in Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro basically wrote Shape of Water 2. And just like Shape of Water, the creature swims away all happy. Shape of Water was a great fucking movie. It was. Frankenstein was just like he just took the same concept, changed the original story a little bit. Guillermo del Toro was a fucking awesome director, guys. He's one of the best. Can I do better than him? Of course not. But although I'd like to try. I have a screenplay called The Sicken, which is huge. I've won so many film festivals around the world. We were close to getting it made until the bottom fell out of Los Angeles. But what I would say in Frankenstein, and this is all about story, and I'd say a lot of people have mentioned with Aliens, right? Government creates stories. You need to create stories that are believable. And I think the part of the alien thing, because the government wants us to believe that aliens are a possibility, the human mind takes it from there. Guillermo del Toro in Frankenstein, with storytelling, he hit the wedding, and all of a sudden it became, a wheel spins really nice. So a great screenplay and a great movie will just flow, and you get surprises, you get twists and turns. But when it turns into a Lego block, it's like clunk, clunk, clunk. That's what happened at the wedding on Frankenstein. Elizabeth died. What's his name? His brother died. And then everything just became, it's all really convenient. This is all happening with amazing alacrity. And then, of course, it becomes the chase. I would have loved Frankenstein to die, and then Victor Frankenstein having to deal with the choices he made the rest of his life, turn it into a tragedy. Because the very fact that the only reason that I saw Victor Frankenstein hated Frankenstein was because he only knew one word. It seems the motivation for Victor Frankenstein to hate his creature was so fucking forced. It was horrible. It's all you could say is Victor. It's all you could say is Victor. Say Liza. Say book. Say hand. Like, you got to come up with a better motivation for Victor Frankenstein to hate Frankenstein. Dude, that's so forced. It didn't work. Now you want to burn him to death? I don't even understand why. The dude didn't fucking do anything to you. And Frankenstein was way too pretty. He really was. That was a good looking Frankenstein. Anyway, this is about aliens. I'm going to do a lot more alien movies. And I hope you guys join me, because I tell you, you always want to create subjects that are compelling. I want to see Freddy versus Jason with Pinhead movie. Yeah. Lisa, that's like, can I write that? That's a mix of intellectual property. Did you like Godzilla? I love Godzilla -1. That is movie making. Jason, that is movie making. Godzilla -1. The Japanese are making freaking movies. Hollywood's not making movies. God, there's a Godzilla -2. The second one's coming out. Like that is, it was such a powerful movie, Godzilla -1. You know, with the whole the man with the woman and the baby, and the whole thing was a well constructed, and they made it for, what did they make it for? 20 million? 20 million bucks. The thing is just like, Hollywood has got a lot to learn. Guys, Wicked. What's the lesson in Wicked? What's the lesson in Barbie? When you make movies for your target audience, you kick ass, right? Wicked for Good is kicking ass because it was made for its target audience. Girls, you know, right? That sort of, what is it, 18 to probably up to 60, right? Star Wars and Marvel are guys' brands. You want to Disney-fy it and turn everyone into a princesses, you get the results that you get. It's a lesson for Hollywood. Dragon Ball don't count. That movie was crap. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I want to see. I've been getting heavy into film noir movies. Yes. Well, you know what? That is a film noir. Yeah. I used to watch a few of them back in, you know, I'm a much older gentleman than my right. I just turned 58. So, I mean, I try and work out. I go to the gym every morning at 3 a.m. I wake up at between 1 and 2. I go to sleep fairly early, and I sleep twice. And then I go to the gym, then I try and sleep for an hour or two. Then I get working on videos. Mar 1, Frankenstein. Frankenstein got boring after hour 2. Actually, it got boring a little bit sooner, right around the wedding, right? When it became Lego blocks. We had, it became Shape of Water. That's what it became. Like, and I knew, like, oh my God, dude, don't. When the wolves attacked, and some of the CGI was really bad with those wolves. And Walter Frey died, right? I tell you, he looked like Gandalf, didn't he? Did he not look like Gandalf? I mean, he looked pretty good. I mean, that's, and of course, then he gave the big speech on forgiveness. Okay, so you just projected the ending. So if you're giving the big speech to Frankenstein about forgiveness, you know that nothing happens by accident. Especially Guillermo del Toro is a good screenwriter. He's a good movie maker. He knows spectacle to the point of not getting cheesy. He holds it in that, like Hellboy, right? I mean, that's a Pacific Rim. I mean, there's a lot of movies, but yeah, that is where Frankenstein, it was kind of like it became obvious. What I didn't like, where it really stumbled, was when Victor Frankenstein got all angry because this creation that he's made from nothing could only say one word. That is not the motivation you need to burn this thing to the ground. You needed more motivation than that. It was forced. It was fake. It didn't make sense. And Frankenstein was way too pretty. Like, holy shit. That dude. I saw Last Night in Soho last night. Starts off slow but gets crazy towards the end. Overall, I enjoyed it. Okay, that's good to know. Me and the homies used to get faded than every time it faded than a hoe in a treehouse and talk about movie ideas or ideas for TV shows for hours till we all had to go home in good times. You know what? Movie ideas. Being a screenwriter, I don't know if any of you are writers or have tried writing. I've written many screenplays. Like I say, you can Google me, Danny Alex, screenwriter, and you'll see all my screenplays and the awards I've won. And I love being exact on screenplays. I love locking myself away for hours, days, weeks, months. And that's what you have to do as a writer. You lock yourself away. And when someone says, do I use AI? Dude, part of the freaking amazing thing about being a writer is coming up with the stuff. Like you don't lock yourself away for months on end writing a screenplay or a novel or a movie or something without thoroughly enjoying the process. Otherwise, you can't write something good. The process of discovering characters, plot, because when you have great developed characters, the plot almost builds itself. I see a lot of movies today. I question whether James Gunn used a little bit of AI to finish off some of those scenes. Same with Fantastic Four. Same with a lot of movies. They feel hollow. They feel shallow. What is my favorite science fiction movie? I am never good with what is your favorite movie, because sometimes it can change based on, you know what? I just watched The Matrix again like 6 weeks ago, and the greatness of The Matrix is reinvigorated when I watched it again. Right. The Matrix is groundbreaking. I even like, from a horror Event Horizon, I often say 2001. Well, fuck yeah. 2001, Kubrick that movie was genius. That movie was part of, I was born in 1967, so I became aware in the 70s. 2001: A Space Odyssey was one of those movies that allowed Star Wars. You go before that, what was it? Dune. Frank Herbert. It was Dune that started. Dune started a lot of that shit off, right? And then the GOAT, Star Trek, Captain Kirk, Spock. Never has there been two characters so beloved as a team. Star Wars. I'm 58. Jeez, 58 years old. A happy 58. I feel good. I feel good. You guys, getting older is not bad. I'm telling you, it's pretty good. And I'm sure there's people older than me that would probably say the same thing. It does make you think. The Matrix makes you think. And I say that because you probably, what's your favorite movie is usually something that you've watched in recent memory, right? Because it comes to the forefront. One of my favorite movies is Tombstone. From a screenwriting perspective, I'm 46, but I appreciate old movies when Hollywood was awesome. Yeah, Tombstone, guys, from a screenwriting perspective, Kurt Russell directed that movie. He had a ghost director. He directed that movie. That's his movie. The introduction, Terminator, was another great screenwriting movie. Introducing the villain, the antagonist first, creates the stakes, creates the tension, creates the understanding. That's what Fantastic Four should have done. Introduce Galactus the second Sue Storm knows she's pregnant. So when she smiles, that's when you get this quick little shot of Galactus opening his eyes. Now you've connected Galactus with the baby. And that's all you need to know until the inciting incident when the Silver Surfer comes and says, it's about to, where Galactus is coming. But Galactus, guys, Galactus can take Thanos. People will argue this, but I think most people agree Galactus can take Thanos. So you got Galactus coming against the Fantastic Four when it took the Avengers, the entire Avengers, to defeat Thanos. That was an antagonist that was just too far. You needed the Silver Surfer to punch Galactus through this feeble idea of teleporting the world a million light years away. Oh, fuck, that was a bad movie. Terminator's a good movie. But Tombstone, guys. Tombstone was fucking brilliant. And I'll tell you what, and I've said this before on the channel. We meet the cowboys, right? You all killed two cowboys. And you go and you say boom, boom, boom. And you see Mike Biehn, he plays, what's his name? Him and Val Kilmer had such great chemistry. And of course we find out how bad he is when he shoots the preacher between the eyes. In the forehead. Because before that, we're thinking, okay, this guy's actually, he seems like the sensible one in the group. No, Johnny Ringo, that's his name, Johnny Ringo. So we're immediately shown the antagonists, how bad these people are. We're shown the stakes, we're shown the tension. And the first scene that we get with Wyatt Earp, we see its boots coming down off a train, and we pan up and we see a great looking stash on Kurt Russell, right? And then we see a horse getting whipped. Whoosh, whoosh. And this is a screenwriting lesson. We see this guy beating a horse, and then you see Wyatt Earp grab the hand, and we immediately feel for the horse. We see the pain in the horse's eyes. I don't know how they did that without PETA getting upset, but Wyatt Earp grabs it and he smacks him. And the look on his face, hurt, don't it? Let go of that stud. Now be on your way. Anytime a protagonist saves an animal, Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro used that same thing when he met the hunters. Remember, he was in the woods with the deer and the elk or whatever it was. Anytime animals are not introduced into a movie by accident. Superman saves a squirrel. James Gunn didn't put that in by accident. The protagonist saving animals endears us to them. Now, the squirrel thing was arguable, but I bring up Tombstone because that is one of the best screenplays. Every scene in Tombstone elevates. Every scene. Oh God, I could talk about Tombstone, till long. Blade. Well, fuck yeah, the first Blade, right? Right, Skylar, the first Blade. Like that's. I look like Trey from Fish. Is that good? Is that good? Wolverine. Yes, I did. Yes. The old man Wolverine, right? Not Origins Wolverine, but old man Wolverine. Fuck yeah. Yeah. If you're a Wolverine fan and you didn't have some tears coming when Wolverine died, you weren't a Wolverine fan, right? I mean, the first Iron Man is another incredibly well written screenplay, incredibly well acted, put together movie. Oh yeah. No, okay, Jason. Okay, this is interesting. You said I'm your Huckleberry. No. This is movie trivia. This is movie trivia. That's not what he says. He does not say I'm your Huckleberry. When Val Kilmer or Doc Holliday walks up to Johnny Ringo, and he goes, "Well, I didn't think you'd show." He goes, "I'm your Huck." He doesn't say Huckleberry. He says, "I'm your Huckle Bearer." I'm your Huckle Bearer. And what that means, back in those days when you carried a coffin, those were huckles that you carried a coffin with. And people that carried the coffin were Huckle Bearers. I'm your Huckle Bearer, meaning Doc Holliday I'll carry your casket. I'm your Huckle Bearer. Is that Chuck Norris? Of course, any Chuck Norris is fucking good, my friend. Back to the Future is good. Shit, man, there's good movies that we forget about, right? Jack Hugh was a good actor. Yeah. Kilgore, Wolverine. I'll have to do what again? Watch it again. I have to watch it again. Yeah. So a lot of people think that Doc Holliday says, "I'm your Huckleberry. I'm your Huckle Bearer." Google Huckle Bearer. I'm your Huckle Bearer. That was a statement they used to use back in the old days, where I will be like the coffin carrier. I know. I thought it was Huckleberry too, and then someone corrected me. One of my I think screenwriting buddies or someone said, "No, that's not what they." It's like, oh fuck, you're right. I googled it, and they're so right. Quentin Tarantino. You know what? Oh, I'm still gonna go back to Pulp Fiction. I'm still gonna go back to Pulp Fiction. I thought Pulp Fiction is what launched Quentin Tarantino. The actor that played, they had the shotgun in the sex scene downstairs, and we almost got to do one of my screenplays, The Sicken, and he was actually going to play the sheriff in one of my movies. So, I forgot his name. Shit, he was a good guy. I look like a serial killer from the late 70s, early 80s. You cannot hurt me. I could. Maybe I am. Maybe is my name Dexter? I could be Dexter. I don't know. Touch Liu at 892. Yeah, I could be. Yeah, I look like a serial. Do I look seriously like a serial killer from the, really? Come on. You're just making conversation, aren't you? I don't know. That's I have to Hulk can be beat by Thor. You know what? One of the funniest scenes in Marvel, I always bring this up, is in Ragnarok. Remember in the fight scene? They're in the Colosseum, and Hulk comes out, and Thor's like, Thor, Hulk, it's Thor. And they come, and then it smashes Thor into the wall, and then Hulk comes running, and he takes the hammer, and smashes Hulk through and the face on Jeff Goldblum, he goes, what? Like, obviously, no one's ever seen the Hulk get pounded across and riveted across the. I thought that was one of the best Jeff Goldblum faces ever. Was in Thor Ragnarok. You look like Terminator was James Cameron. I think a lot of people, Walker, Texas Ranger, Chuck Norris. Like I say, I was a kickboxer for 8 years. I wore cowboy boots because Chuck Norris wore cowboy boots. Chuck Norris he's a legend, and Hulk can also be Thanos hand to hand. People will argue that. I mean, what I didn't like about the boxing match that they had, it's a few punches, and then. If you're gonna hit someone with a lot of force, that's gonna need it to hurt Hulk. You're gonna have to hit him. He's gonna go like flying, and then when you pick him up and slam him, like a bunch of metal or iron isn't gonna stop his fall. Otherwise, anyone could body slam him, and you would need enough force that would send him through the iron light year. Like the velocity that Thanos would throw you at would send you light years away, wouldn't it? Handsome like Ted Bundy. That's cool, Jason. That's cool. I like that talk, man. That's good. That's good talk, man. Terminator 2 was good. I mean, you look at the stuff that James Cameron has done, right? You'd have to ask, what is his worst movie? Does he have? I mean, the guy is uber talented, and when he's doing movies like he's doing today and still pulling, I think Fire and Ash might break the $3 billion mark. I do. I think, yeah. So, best Tarantino, Jackie Brown, Cameron. Does he have which movie do you not like from James Cameron? Touch. I even like Titanic. I think there was a magical the research that he has done into Titanic to make that movie, the money he spent, the studio stopped funding him on the Titanic. They stopped funding the Titanic. He finished that movie off with his own money. You know how much money he made? The thing about Avatar, I despise Avatar. I don't. I mean, you talk to anyone in the movie business, the fact that The Abyss was my least. Yeah, maybe The Abyss was. You have to have a flavor for it. Avatar there's a reason why it puts asses in seats. Movies do not put asses in seats unless they motivate people to go, right? I don't know. Despise is a really strong word. Avatar is, from a screenwriting, a guy who's been in that movie business. Every scene is acted. I heard critical drinker. Like, I'm sorry, man. I've been in the movie business. I don't think he's ever been on a fucking production set. Sorry, bro. I'm not here to cut down, critical drinker, but the critical drinker's got a lot of stinkers. Like, I don't know that he knows what he's talking about a lot of the time. Because have you seen those actors acting underwater for minutes at a time? Have you tried to do anything underwater? Like hats off to those actors that like, and what the fuck? Anything with water in the movie business, and that's one of the rules in if you're doing a movie in water, it was bound to lose money because the costs were going to be ridiculous. And James Cameron created technology that all of Hollywood is going, thank you. The second movie, The Way of Water, was blocky. The story was not great. The first one was a great story with the antagonist, the protagonist, how everything sort of meshed together. What I don't like with Avatar is the fact that he's keeping the same characters going through every single one. It's like Quaritch is still in the third one. Maybe he dies this time. Maybe he should die this time. Although the main antagonist is that gal. She looks good. Her and Neytiri, it's not gonna be a girl boss fight. You know, Cameron keeps the family thing alive, and I'm not even a right-wing conservative. I am a fiscal conservative, yes. But I do like family shit because everything's a little girl that's a secret to everything. Every fucking thing is. It's okay to have little boys also, doing shit, right? It's okay. James Cameron. So here's the thing about James Cameron creating memorable characters. The characters he's creating are not human. They're 12-foot tall blue things. And one of the things that I will criticize the critical drinker on, he talks about CGI. What the fuck are you going to do? You're going to put everyone in a 12-foot suit, walk around with plants in a studio? A movie of that scale has to be, but all of every scene is acted out. Every scene is human expression, human creation, right? Every story is recycled touch. Every story is recycled. As a screenwriter, I was a musician too, right? So if you're going to write a song, doesn't matter what key you use the key of G, A, D, D sharp, it doesn't matter. You get the same. So in any scale, you get the first, fourth, and fifth major chords, right? And basically, the first, fourth, and fifth chords in a scale is basic. I've just described 80% of the songs in the world. You could add a minor second, a minor third. You could add a minor sixth that creates some nice tone. Depending on what kind of music you're writing, jazz, you're going to start getting into some, odd time signatures. But no one's using notes that haven't been used in music. Nobody. It's all been done. You don't get that many notes, 12 notes between an octave, right? That's all you get. That's all you get. So everything has been done. It's just been done a different way. So the same thing with movies. So when someone says, well, it's been done before. Fuck it. Well, of course. Every movie's been done before. You can't make a horror movie and say, well, it hasn't been done before. If you guys want to watch a good horror movie, It Follows. Have you guys seen It Follows? A great independent, small budget film that fucking rocks. I love small producers that come out and just knock it out of the park. It Follows is a great movie. Young video quality is top shelf. Semitones. Yeah, well, it depends on the scale. Yeah, semitones. The CGI looks great. Very high quality CGI. Oh, why they cost so much to produce? Actually, so the number for Avatar is 250 million, they're saying, for Fire and Ash. Call it 300 million. This is a movie that will probably do 3 billion. Of all the Avatar movies, I think they're talking about a total budget of about $1 billion for all of the Avatar movies. Now, if they come in and they do 12, 13, 14 billion, it's just like Peter Jackson filming all the movies at once. Brilliant. Peter Jackson is brilliant. Peter Jackson is brilliant. Ask me, smell your hair. Tell me a secret. Smell my. Well, you're gonna smell my hair. I can't smell my hair. How do you smell your hair? Be creative if you're gonna recycle through stories like the Poor Things. Look, the struggle between an antagonist and protagonist. The struggle between an antagonist and protagonist is always gonna feel the same. A protagonist that is trying to get something that the antagonist is preventing the protagonist from achieving. The bigger the stakes, the bigger the consequences, when the story is written, the greater the attachment. The protagonist needs an internal and an external conflict. Most protagonists, we only see the external conflict. Protagonists need an internal conflict. That is critical on establishing the overall character. Jake Sully had great internal, external conflicts. There were a lot of things that were going in the first Avatar. And the second one, it became blocky. It became Lego blocks. And that's why I think James Cameron took an extra year. He realized it. He goes, you know what? When I look back at it, it's not what I wanted. And I think with Fire and Ash, he is a great storyteller. Do not think that James... Look, there's no more Star Wars that's going to be made. It's done. Dana White just did an interview. Did you see the Dana White interview he just did, talking about the whole idea that all of these echo chambers are so dispersed? Like everyone's talking within their own group about this, that, and the other thing. When Star Wars came out, everyone was talking about the same thing, right? The idea that Star Wars and Marvel was going to see disintegration was kind of inevitable, but not to the degree that Disney had to make it so. Fandoms, because information is so easily dispersed nowadays, we're going to be fractured. You are not going to see the Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who. Look, this is only the third movie in Avatar. It's only the third one. It started in 2009. We had to wait 13 years for the next one. If you go online and you see all of the fan theory stuff, dealing with propulsion systems, and part of the problem was because the protagonists are not human beings. They're not human beings. They're tall blue creatures. We tend to familiarize ourselves with protagonists that we can identify with. And it's very similar to the native Indians and the settlers of the West, what he's sort of he's kind of making a point that way. And he was crippled, was saying in his Avatar, a hard choice. I think Jake Sully had to go through a lot of hard choices. When I succeed, it causes James. Well, James Cameron is preoccupied with his movies. Like he is. Hollywood running out of original. There's no more original ideas, Touch. There's no more original ideas. They're done. Like everything's been done. There's just a deviation, a deviant of something that's already been done. That's any movie that's been done, you can equate it back to some movie in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. You make a pirate movie, it doesn't matter what you do in a pirate movie, it's going to be, it's just Pirates of the Caribbean. Well, you can't say that because you got to allow new ideas on the same subject. It might be in the same vein. It's the same thing with songs. Every song's been written. Every song's been done. Everything's been done with songs and music. So you write, so you know what? So much when I was a songwriter, when I was writing songs, you would write a song, and I had my 4-track player, right? You put the cassette in, 2 tracks one way, 2 tracks the other way, and you would record a song, and then and so I played bass, keyboards, and you had a drum kit, and then guitar, and you lay the tracks, and you get the melody, and you listen to it, and then you realize, holy shit, I just literally. It was another, whatever song it was, oh shit, that's like Brian, everything I do for you, or whatever, heaven, or I remember, I say that because I remember writing a song and it sounded exactly like, Bryan Adams' Heaven. Cause baby, you're all that I want when you're lying here in my, I don't remember the vocals of the song I wrote, but I'm like, fuck, I just wrote Heaven with different lyrics. Son of a bitch. But that's the same thing with music. Do I honestly think that the Avatar movie is worth telling over several movies? We'll find out. Let's not judge it. Let's wait. Let's wait to see it. The fact is that Way of Water still did almost $2.4 billion. You want to tell James Cameron that it wasn't worth it, or James Cameron owns the IP. The only thing Disney owns is the distribution. Do you know how much fucking money Cameron made off that movie. You want to tell James Cameron it's not worth it? Or people that have any sort of, it's Fire and Ash is going to surprise people. He took an extra year to fine tune that story. I bet you he shot extra scenes to fine tune it. That's why he took the year. That's why he probably asked for it. After Way of Water, which was lacking, a little bit Lego, a little like Frankenstein, a little bit Lego blocks, it turned into Lego blocks, a little bit clunky, a little bit predictable. I think this time it's going to be a different story. Marvel's is, I tell you, the bringing the whole Doomsday thing, bringing back Robert Downey Jr. and now you're bringing back, well, you're not bringing back Thor or Chris Hemsworth. You're bringing back, what's his name, Captain America. It's desperation. It makes no difference. Doomsday will put ass in seats, right? For sure it will. It's what comes after that. We're gonna have like Iron. What, you gonna have more Ironheart? It's a male brand, and I think even the females that love Marvel love it for. There's some great female characters, and same with DC. Bro, if aliens... Okay, we're back on subject. Bro, if aliens are going to go anywhere, it sure as F isn't going to be Earth. They will blow our planet up from space just so they don't get AIDS. Oh, jeez. I don't... You know what? This is a really interesting point that you make, because we're going to Avatar. James Cameron is showing us going to Avatar, and you see the big ISVs landing, right? And they are wiping out hundreds of square miles of, like, they are killing wildlife, destroying jungle, annihilating it for dozens of miles in every direction. Humans are doing that. What if aliens from another planet are looking for a new place to settle? Are aliens all benevolent? It's like Avi Loeb and Three Eye Atlas. Do you think, what, seriously? What the fuck? They sent a 20-mile mothership to come close to Earth? You know how much energy that would take? An advanced civilization would send nanobots, little tiny bots with little thingies with video on it, sensors, because they're highly advanced. Dyson spheres are a joke. Dyson Freeman was so embarrassed by being attached to the idea of a sphere. Look at the size of all the rocky planets compared to the sun. It's never going to happen. The Kardashev scale was a product of 1964 Soviet Union, who thought bigger is better. Soviets don't know shit. The Soviets were always a dumbass, frickin' not really a country, but a collection of countries. The Russians ain't much better. Everything's going nano. We want to break open atoms. That's where the fucking energy is. We need to make our own fusion. We know the sun is converting hydrogen into helium. We need to make our own fusion. And that means going nano. Everything we're doing is going nano. We're going to have like little one molecule wide wires where electrical signals flow on nanotechnology so small, using the power of atoms as we break them apart to drive our technology. It's not going to be in Dyson spheres or ideas of Kardashev scales, or aliens coming here are going to be light years beyond our ability to perceive where technology might be able to go. But we're seeing it with AI, my friends. If you're not scared of AI, if you're not scared of your job, even if you're an electrician, if you're a homemaker, if you're a fixer, have you seen the robots that are coming out? Have you seen the freaking robots that are coming out on AI? They will you'll have a robot come over and fix your electrical for you. Why? Because they don't call in sick and they don't unionize. That's why. AI will put more than just coders and customer service out of business. If you want to, if you have kids and you want them to be in a really good sound job, robot repairman, my friends, robot repairman or alien fighter, you know, get to like a little alien fighter, get some sort of a Ghostbusters gun and fight the aliens when they arrive. Like, I don't know. I think it's going to take the generations that were around for meltdown to pass before nuclear is widely accepted. People are scared of nuclear power. They don't have to be. I mean, the stuff that's left over is basically it's, you know, radioactivity. They found that, guys, did you see that they found that black moss in Chernobyl that seems to be consuming radioactivity? I started a video on it. I got like halfway through on the script, and then something else took my attention. I'm like, you know, but it could be that we may find stuff, develop stuff, because radioactivity is basically, right, you know, particles, electrons, little flying around at light speed, going through us, destroying our DNA. We may find solutions in our mistakes. In Chernobyl, have you seen the Elephant's Foot? God, how could I? And of course, the 5-part series. If you haven't seen the 5-part series on HBO Max, you gotta watch it. Was it 5? Wait, 5 or 4? It was 5, right? I've watched it 3 or 4, 5 times, I think. I hypothesize that viruses are an alien tech intelligence gathering nanotech. Well, yeah, hey, maybe. Are you going to be talking to me? Taking to me? I run a city wastewater plant. I use AI in the lab all the time now. Yeah. I use AI all the time. I don't use it to write scripts. I use it to formulate ideas and assemble data, information. Sometimes if I need help rewording a sentence, I go reword this. And it'll say something that's like, oh, wait a sec. You know, AI is, I mean, AI is actually tacky. As if when you're thinking about it, people just need to stop being retarded. That's true. Did I miss something? Will Manister? There's a lot of stuff coming through. I don't know if I missed anything. Jesus loves you. Smiley Nation says Jesus loves you. Going way back. And that's cool. I mean, yeah, you know what? If Jesus loves me as a non-believer, then I love him back. All right. I love me little Jesus. I have nothing against religious people. Hold your faith close to your heart. I'm not going to try and convince you otherwise. You have to find that out yourself. And I'm not going to argue about it because I can't argue blind faith. No one can argue it. So keep that which you hold dear. And people ask me on Christmas, well, how do you celebrate Christmas if you don't believe in Jesus? Well, I don't believe in Santa Claus either. But I love me a little Santa Claus. Right? That's tell you a story in your ear. Will, I love you too, buddy. That's Keith Urban. You look like Keith Urban, brah. Only photons, light rays can travel at light speed because photon have no... Well, anything with no mass travels at light speed, right? So anything with that has no mass, photons do have momentum though. That's the crazy thing, right? And that's how James Cameron uses a huge laser array to shoot at the sail to propel his ISVs, interstellar vehicles, to Pandora. I mean, light is an incredible thing. And then you go at the speed of light, time stands still, which is basically why warp 10, you are everywhere at the same time if you're traveling warp 10 in Star Trek. But, I mean, I don't know. I love me a little PS2 under that Christmas tree. Hell yeah! You know what? I stopped playing video games because I have such an addictive personality. I was World of Warcraft over the top, and then if I start playing video games again, I'm fucked. Because I mean, now I have two channels trying to get both channels fired up, doing this and that, trying to live. Like, I don't even have a wife or kids. I'm 58 with no wife or kids. Like, fuck. I mean, I some of these videos, almost everyone I tried to talk to on this app just screamed at me. Will you also do that? Why would I scream at you? Like, I'm not an angry guy. I'm actually, even if you like throw like knives at me and you throw bad, like, I have no reason to, if someone throws nasty words or something my way. My dad used to always say, and he was like this old Czech German guy from the old country. He says, Donnie, don't worry about giving the enemy the victory if the defeat doesn't hurt you. And it's very true. Don't worry about giving the enemy the victory if the defeat doesn't hurt you. Smile. It's the most powerful thing you have. What do I think the best argument for God is? The best argument. I did, about a year ago, I did 2 videos. I did the 5 arguments for God and the 5 arguments against God. The 5 arguments for God are basically, they're all philosophical arguments because you cannot provide any proof. There's the whole concept that, so many people believe in it en masse, and that the idea is so prevalent that there is, with 2 trillion galaxies, 400 billion stars in every galaxy, we live in an unremarkable galaxy, in an unremarkable part of the galaxy, in an unremarkable solar system. There is no way a God that created 2 trillion galaxies is going to care about some unremarkable part of the universe. Why would you create 2 trillion galaxies when you're concerned about some insignificant marble somewhere in the universe? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why create 2? I mean, that idea came to being when we had no idea that even 400 billion stars existed around us. I mean, if you count to 400 billion, it would take you like something like, I don't know, like 12 million years to count to 400 billion. It's crazy. So I want to marry you. You're a man. Well, you're a man. I am not of that. I don't turn that way, bro. I'm a girl's guy. Scare him. Yeah. Oh, I didn't want to play that game, man. If I started playing that game, Traveling Lamp, I tell you, if I started playing that game, I would have been, there's video games that I see that if I started playing it, I'd be like, where's Danny? He's playing video games, which was the way I was with World of Warcraft for 3-4 years. And I realized I have an addictive personality. I started smoking when I was young, and it was a horrible time quitting. I haven't done drugs since I was 22. I don't do drugs or anything like that. I'm not really a drinker or anything, but I have an addictive personality. Mr. Saki, my pleasure. I'm trying to answer as much stuff as I can, but the God thing, the God thing is a very personal thing. And it's premised on blind faith. Blind faith is not premised on anything. You can't argue blind faith. So those people who believe need to, want to, have been told to, have taken an opinion that God exists. I don't believe ghosts exist. I always tell this story, like one of my girlfriends, she wouldn't go downstairs into the freezer to get meat because she thought a ghost would attack her. And I almost said her name. I said, well, so what if I go down? Why are you not scared for me? If I go downstairs and get the meat, why are you not scared that this ghost is going to attack me? I mean, you're pretty shallow. Like, why? And she goes, well, it's not going to attack you because you don't believe. Like, really? Ghosts don't attack people. They go to ghost school. You cannot attack people who do not believe in you. All you ghosts sitting at the desks right now, you cannot attack people if they don't believe in you. I've never seen a news story the next day that said 2 men were killed when they went downstairs to grab their steak and were attacked by a ghostly apparition. Haven't seen it. A universe that doesn't exist. The universe might not exist. So the idea that, right, we talk about the double slit theory. The idea that the universe exists only because of observation, right? And this falls right in line with the simulation theory. Anyone who has studied the simulation theory, a video game, you're in one room of a video game, and basically the rest of the video game exists as a possibility, right? Because we haven't gone through that door. Whatever is behind that door exists only as a possibility. If we don't go through that door, it still exists only as a possibility if we go back out the other way. The entire world of World of Warcraft, we're only in one part of that world, and everything else outside of it exists as a possibility. If we look at our universe that similar way, that does a tree fall in the forest if no one is there to hear it? Maybe not. We don't know. From what we know in quantum, the laws of quantum mechanics, everything exists in millions and billions of possibilities until it's observed. Once it has an observer, it collapses into one reality, which is crazy stuff when you start thinking about it, which adds fuel to the simulation idea, because now you can now believe in infinity. What is infinity? Think of it as a video game. It is an endless realm of possibilities that only exist in the place that you're in. I think, therefore I am, is sort of another way to think of the realm of possibilities. Understanding what dark matter is will be when humans can start conquering the universe, which will never happen in human life. No, it's not going to happen. We don't even know if dark matter, dark energy is really what it is, right? Simulations are programmed by an intelligent agent. Yes, they are, and that's why I'm an agnostic, because I hold a certain percentage of possibility that the simulation theory might be true. If the simulation theory is true, then the universe has a creator. It's a programmer at a level that we would never have thought or guessed that it could be. But simulations are, which is why I'm agnostic. I'm agnostic to the idea that maybe God is a 10th dimensional being, not God, an entity, because it wouldn't look like us. It wouldn't have peepees and vaginas to have sex with to procreate. We have no need for it. I don't think God rested on the seventh day because, well, maybe he did because that's NFL day. And of course the humans start praying to him. Oh man, it'd be a tough. Or her. It's like, DEI, you got to be DEI. I was checking the DEI on Godless Universe, and I had 2 boxes checked. I had because I was in Hollywood, right? Because I got the papers, and it was like, wait a second. They don't have a box for male, so I had to draw my own box in for male, and I checked it. And then I went to the next part, and they didn't have a box for Caucasians. So I'm like, motherfucker. I had to draw my own box in for Caucasians. Like, And then they didn't have a box for refugee. I was a refugee. We left Czechoslovakia when the Soviets invaded in 1968. I was a baby. We landed in the shores of Vancouver. We had nothing. My parents couldn't speak the language. Yes, Caucasians too can be refugees. And we are all just human beings, right? We're all human beings. We just got to try and love each other, regardless of what we look like. Period, right? Period. But I didn't pass the DEI test. I don't care. I'm just a peep, and I love all peeps. Guys, we're going to call it a show right there. Will, I don't marry. Dude, I'm not. What the fuck? Ask me to smell your hair. What is this? Will, I am not. I like girls. Dude, I like girls. Simulations are programmed by Intel, understanding what. Yeah. So I did miss. There's a lot of comments. So I'm going to be back tomorrow, Monday through Thursday. We do 7:00 p.m. Eastern time, and then I also have Poperageous where I do Saturday night live. Not Saturday Night Live. I can't say that. Pop Rageous Live, it's Saturday night. We talk movies and everything like that. I think I'm going to be talking Witcher episode 3 and weapons and a few other things. But I do love talking movies. I love talking Hollywood. I spent 20 years in Hollywood. I love science. I love listening to what other people have to say. It's very important to me. I never discount other people's opinions. Other people's opinions, it's arguing red or green. As long as you don't hurt anybody, you can have whatever opinion you want for as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, scary. Yeah. Oh, geez, scary. There's video games that could really destroy your life. No problem, Will. Sorry, there are video games that can destroy your life, guys. Video games are uber. That's why I don't play them. I told one of my other YouTube buddies, I said, you know what? If I start playing them, I'll start, I'll do it online. I'll like start streaming. I'll stream video games so I can, because I'm hanging out with people. Because I'm a social animal, even though I spend most of my time in a room making videos and stuff. So I don't know. But anyway, my friends, thank you for hanging out with me for this. This is the longest GU live so far, 2 hours, 52 minutes. I thank everyone. And please hang out again. I would love to see you guys back Monday through Thursdays here on Godless Universe. And I'll see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific